Hello, everybody. We are live. Hello to Jesse. Let me know if you guys can hear me or if I should come closer. I don't know. I should higher my volume. Hi, John Marciano, Beverly. Hello. Thank you guys for coming and hanging out with me. So, I am going to deep dive into the second assassination attempt of Donald Trump. I am upset, to be honest. This is upsetting. Like, hi, Ricky Bobby. Thanks for joining. If anybody wants to join the StreamYard and come on on the show, my link is pinned to the top of my channel. And so if you are watching from Vern's channel, I am going to have to put it in the chat for you guys, which I am doing now. Hello to Tad and John again. Okay, guys, so you already know we've covered the first assassination attempt. That was the very first time that I have ever seen something like that. It's still devastating, and I don't even think I processed it correctly. Like, I was just upset. I wasn't even at home at the time. It was very confusing time. And we were supposed to be having fun that weekend. It was supposed to be a vacation, and then something like that happens. You know what I'm saying? So it's really upsetting. And then now again, this happened in West Palm Beach. So I have a couple of tabs on Twitter that I've been trying to follow, what has been going on, but I am upset. Hello to JS. And hello to Josh Wiggins. Hello. And Keith Silver. Hey, y'all. Nice, guys. I'm so glad that you are joining us. Never be upset. All you need is love. Okay. I agree with you. But in certain times like this, I feel like there is something brewing inside of me. It's not, I don't want to say like anger or anything, but it's just like disappointment. Because now that we're awake to like the real world and the deep state and stuff like that, that's my anger. Like, we have no control over what's going on, and they're trying to take him out. That's what gets me. You know what I'm saying? So with me, there is no amnesty. There is no love. There is no reconciliation. There is none of that when you are trying to take out your opposition, your opponent. That's just like, okay. I know how people say not to fight violence with violence and stuff like that, but to me, I'm ready. I'm ready. I don't know why. I just never was that type of person to turn the cheek, if you know what I mean. Not me. Hi, Beverly. She says the attempts are outrageous, uncalled, and dangerous, needless to say. Yes. Keith says, "Where's Jane?" Hey, Jane, where are you? The regulars are waiting for you to come. Maybe Jane will come in a few minutes. Hopefully she joins us. Jimmy! I'll be on in a little while. Gotta do dishes. No problem. No problem. You already know I'll be here for a while. But I'm upset. Okay? Like, I'm just gonna be really honest. I'm upset. I'm not okay. It's bothering me like a lot. Especially the first time, and Jimmy already knows, like, he was the very first person or second person that I called, because I called my dad and I was just like screaming. This time around, it's like, like, I'm not shocked anymore, and I'm not like, going through those kind of motions like being shocked. Now I'm like, let them hurt one blonde head on Donnie's, let them hurt one hair on Donnie's blonde head, and I can go, I gotta relax. I gotta relax. I don't even know how to explain it. I'm just upset. JG. Hi, Ruby. Hello. Love is God, God is power. Yes, but we can't leave everything up to God. Sometimes we have to fight. WDH, hello. And if anybody wants to come on and give me your perspective on what's happening in the political world right now, please do so. The link is in the chat. You can give me your opinions. And just let me know how you're feeling, because I don't feel good at all. Jesse says, our fights is just love will guide us. Maybe it's because you guys are older than me that you kind of take that high road, and there's nothing wrong with that. I totally approve of that. But to me, sup? What's up? Beverly says, Jimmy, are you for hire? Tad says, Jimmy, besides bourbon on the rock. Hey, Tad. Jesse says, Jimmy has to do dishes. Yeah, that's what I do. I get all of my things done before I start, because I already know from 9 to midnight, I'm going to be here. And we're going to go through all of these tabs and all of this information in a minute. Yes. Joined us.
Cat's up, meow.
Hey, how's it going?
How are your pets?
I don't have any. What you talking about?
Oh, they ate them?
Stop playing with me, bro.
Okay.
Yo, I'm telling that. You see, maybe that's what it is. I've been watching the news too much, and you know how sometimes it could really like get you riled up. That's what it is. Like, I'm angry about what's happening with the immigration. I'm angry about what's happening with Donald Trump. They keep trying to take him out, and I am like, ooh.
No, but you're in Florida, right?
Yeah.
Are there a lot of alligators?
Yeah, but like in the Everglades and like out there. I'm in Tampa, so it's a big city.
But are the Haitians eating the alligators?
Stop playing.
Okay.
You know what? They need alligators at the border. Have you seen those concepts of how they have like water and the wall and stuff like that, and then they have gators and stuff like that?
Yeah. Hey, listen. The Bible says, and what we all have in common is we're all XJWs. And the Bible, the half-brother of Jesus told us, and I really believe this right. He said that we have to consider everything a joy, because tomorrow they might kill us. They're going after all of us. Like, for instance, Hillary Clinton. She's talking about throwing us in concentration camps. She's talking about getting rid of our First Amendment right, freedom of speech. So you have to consider it a joy. For this we were born into the world. Nathan Hale says, I regret that I have but one life to give to my country. For this we were born as Americans. This is our fate. This is our destiny. We have to embrace it, and we have to be happy and joyful that we're Americans, that we're going to defend our brothers. Imagine our brothers in Bunker Hill. Imagine our fathers in the Revolutionary War or the Civil War or the American who died, and they were only 14 or 15 or 16 years old. They didn't get to live a long life like we did. So
right.
For this, we were born to defend our country, and we get to be the opposite of Hillary Clinton. Our fight is just. Don't you see we're justified? We believe in freedom of speech. She wants to lock us up in concentration camps.
I totally get that, but we can't
be
fight
happy.
with love.
No, be happy, but rejoice with every sweat, with every anger, with every tear. Take it like our fathers did before us. Do you think the young soldier who died in Iwo Jima, the young soldier who died in Normandy or Afghanistan, what was his last thoughts when he was dying? Right before his eyes turned black. He was thinking of you and I. He was thinking about America, where we are free. So we are blessed among the nations because we have people who died for our freedoms. It is our turn to carry the torch. So consider everything with the joy. Don't ever let it get you down. We were blessed. John F. Kennedy says that no man in 1960, when he was giving his inaugural address, he thought that no man would trade places with the time and place where he was at. And we have to be the same way. We should thank God that we were born in this time and era where we could defend our country like our fathers did before us. I wanted to share that message with you, Ruby.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. And I totally get what you're coming from. I'm going to unmute you, WDH, because you have a little bit of a feedback. So Do you have any
Ruby,
thoughts you'd like to? Oh, go ahead, Jesse.
I'm gonna bail out. I'll talk to you later, but I'll be listening.
Okay, thank you, Jesse.
Peace and love.
Bye. Okay, W, you are here with me. Are there any thoughts that you would like to share?
Yeah, I like to share a lot of thoughts, but I like to thank you for letting me come on this live. And like the first time we had a live, like you guys were so welcoming, and like I really appreciate that because like not a lot of lives. Sometimes I try to go on and they don't want to hear what I got to say, or like sometimes I get so passionate and like on the chats and I'm like speaking my thoughts and they don't want to hear what I got to say. But you know you have this platform, and I really appreciate what you do. I don't know. I just have a lot of thoughts, and it's kind of like nerve wracking,
Mm-hmm.
and like I don't know. There's just a reason why I don't like vote because like I see the system as like, what is this about voting?
Right. Well, okay. So there's a couple of themes because
Yeah.
I'm all over the place as well. I don't feel good tonight. One of the things that we've seen, me and you are in Florida, so we've seen the second assassination attempt of Donald Trump in West Palm Beach. Then
Hmm.
there was information that has been leaked about a whistleblower from ABC News talking about how the debate we saw with Trump and Kamala was rigged, that she had the questions beforehand, and a couple of other things. I'm going to jump into that. But the more important one that I really want to jump into is having appreciation for our political differences. Even if you don't
Yeah.
have an opinion about politics and how everybody is welcomed here, like you just described, even my cousin, she's in the chat, and Tony, if you want to click that link and come up here, because we had a phone conversation, and she
Hmm.
was just like giving me all of the misconceptions of Trump. Oh, he's a racist. Oh, he's this, he's that. And I'm like, bro, I literally covered these things. Like, that's the whole point of the show, is to talk about how we really feel about politics.
Yeah.
And if you still feel that way and you don't want to vote at all, then fine. But my goal is education. My goal is to show you guys how to not be neutral anymore. At least have an opinion about something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So appreciation for all of our political differences is really what I want to highlight, because all we see here in the
King
news
Tony,
and
bro.
when they talk about people, especially Trump, is that
Hmm.
negative rhetoric. Oh, he's a threat to our democracy. Oh, he's this, he's that. And that's what makes people feel as I do, so emotionally charged and angry, because either we know it's a lie or we know it's true, and we don't get our voices heard because the people are not being represented correctly in government. And then you get people like me who want to become politically active, and then I feel devastated when they're trying to take out one of the best presidents that I have seen in my lifetime. That's where my blood is boiling. And King Tony, you are here with us. If you would like to share a few thoughts.
Hi. Hello.
Doing
Hi.
good.
Um, I actually just finished watching the debate like 30 minutes ago.
Which
And it's
which
huh?
one?
The presidential.
There was a few. Which one? Did you see the
This
freedom?
was this one was well, let me see. I would have to see what because I
Because one was like the Freedom Fest with the other presidential candidates that I think I showed you.
Can I say something?
Sure, go ahead, W. Go ahead.
I only got like 5 or 6% on my phone,
Okay, go ahead.
and I don't know. You can interrupt me whenever you want, but yeah, there's just the reason why I don't believe in politics, yo. Like I don't know. I just feel like it's all staged. Like it sounds crazy. How old are you? How old are you, Ruby?
I'm 28.
Oh wow. When did you like find like when did you like wake up and found out this was a cult?
Mm, about five, six, about 5, 6 years ago is when I finally mentally woke up, but I was physically like, not going at all about 10 years ago. Once I found out the truth about everything, I couldn't attend with a good conscience, and then I just stopped going to the meetings. But
Yeah.
I didn't fully like be like apostate until like 5, 6 years ago. And then about six about 6 to 8 months ago, I started the channel. So that's why I've had a lot of growth. I've had a lot of time in my journey to speak and do this, is because I
Hmm.
have moved so far along in my journey, and I know that everybody's in different places, and that's probably why I rub people the wrong way. But that's
Yeah.
exactly what I want to address, is appreciating our political differences, because I know not everybody's going to agree with me. I know that.
Yeah.
But the point is, at least I'm doing something about it. At least I'm talking about it. At least I'm upfront about it. At least I'm honest about it. And so this is like the real me finally coming out of being so long,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
suppressing those feelings.
Yeah. So you were like in your early 20s?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like in my late 20s when I woke up, because I was just like looking at a lot of things and I didn't know what to believe. Like I was just like you, I was like all over the place. But like I've come to this conclusion, like we just like like we just live like everything's in the mind, and we live in a program simulation, and the only way we can be free is from within. Like like
I understand what you're saying, and you've
yeah.
said this many times before, but I'm gonna be straight up
Yeah.
with you. I don't believe
Uh-huh.
that. I just don't.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna be super
It's
respectful
just,
and honest. I just don't believe that. I feel like
yeah,
if we don't do
I
something
respect that.
now,
Yeah, I respect that. I can respect that you don't believe what I believe, because we can't force anybody to believe our beliefs. Like it was just like I was so uncomfortable. Like I was like, okay, how do I know this is the truth? I was so uncomfortable with telling people like this was the truth, because like how do I know? Like how do I really know? But like you can you can look at it for yourself, and you can believe and you cannot believe, but like there
okay, but think about it,
yeah,
W. Once you
yeah,
find out that something's not real, doesn't that motivate you to do something about it? Once I woke up, I wanted to do something about it. I wanted to expose,
yeah.
I wanted to
Yeah,
speak, I wanted to get involved. It's the same thing
exactly.
with politics. How many years have they been telling us, don't get involved, don't vote, don't salute the
Yeah,
flag, don't do the national anthem?
I
They don't want you to
understand
have
where
any
you're coming from.
business.
I understand where you're coming from, but just because this is a dream and it's not real, it doesn't mean that we don't have a purpose in life. Do you get what I'm trying to tell you?
But it's not just a dream. It's not just a simulation. This is the only life
Yeah,
you got. We are only alive in this physical form right
but
now.
okay,
And if
okay,
you don't do
okay.
anything, if you let your life pass you
Let's say,
by,
yeah,
how are you going to feel when you're 60, 70, 80 something years old
but
and you
I'm
could
not
have done
saying,
something when you was young? I'm trying
yeah,
to
but
not
I'm
live
not,
with any regrets
yeah,
type of thing.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I get what you mean, but I get exactly what you're telling me, but I still feel like there's a purpose and there's a meaning and there's a reason why you're doing this. I'm not saying that what you're doing is pointless, because I I truly believe like there's a meaning towards everything. But me personally, I just wouldn't vote, because like if you analyze like what they're doing down to like detail, like
Yeah,
it's just
that's the rabbit hole that I go on with Jimmy Bell.
yeah,
Every single episode that
yeah.
we have is
It's just a
that's what
never
we
ending it's just sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but it's just like a never ending story. And like these presidents or whatever, these people that we
Mhm,
look up to, they
mhm.
promise us things, and the world is still the same. It's still war, and then there's still peace. We're still like that's the whole thing of division.
Because we're not in control. That's what I tell Jimmy all the time. I
Yes.
said, if the deep state is real, right, it exists, and
Yeah.
there's big money, big names behind closed doors, we're never gonna have true freedom. And this is what I told King Tony on the phone, and I'm gonna let her comment on this next, because I told her
Okay.
the only way to, in my mind, in my opinion, the only way is either nobody votes and the electoral college is gonna have to do it themselves, or like we'll have to protest against the two-party system, or there has to be an immense amount of people voting third party so that both of them lose, and then we can have real change. King Tony, go.
Yeah.
Let me know your thoughts. Go ahead.
Yes, that's what I was saying. That we in our conversation that they make us feel like we have to make a choice and we have to choose the candidates that they're presenting us with. But if we really feel like we have the power to control, then maybe not voting can send a bigger signal to them that you're not going to make us choose like people that you want us to choose. And if we think that neither of the candidates are fit to run this country, then we shouldn't feel pressured to choose them. Like there should
Right.
be an alternative way for us to express what we want and get what we want.
Right. But I would never, I would never like advocate for that to happen realistically. I'm just like speculating, like I'm just thinking.
Yeah,
Because I don't
yeah.
believe in that either, honestly. I don't believe that we shouldn't vote. I mean, I think we should. But that's the problem, is like sometimes you get so angry and so upset that there's no real change that you just don't want to get involved in it at all. At all. But that's not me. Like I'm not there yet. But we were just having that conversation, and I was telling you to
Hmm.
watch the Freedom Fest debates that Lucy sent me on Discord. And it had like the Libertarian, the Green Party, and then the
Uh,
Constitutionalist.
okay.
Did you see that debate?
No, I didn't see those.
That's what you that's what you gotta watch. I mean, yeah, that's what you have to watch.
I saw the presidential debate in Philadelphia.
Is that the one with Kamala and
Yeah,
Donald?
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I did the live stream on
You
that. That
did?
was
Hmm.
Yeah, I didn't like it. I think Trump was like, he could have gone so much harder. This is not the same Trump that we are dealing with like in 2016. He had that energy, he had that fight in him. You know what I mean? But then
Mhm.
at the same time, I'm like, yo, this man has been through so much. Like they trying to
Mhm.
kill this. You know what I'm saying? Like put yourself in his shoes. If you knew that at any moment they want to knock your head out, then I would feel the same way he does too. But that's what gets me upset, is because I'm like, yo, Donald, stay home and don't leave your house. You know what I'm saying? Like, stop it. Because I swear to God, bro, if Donald Trump dies, remember what I was telling you? I was like, yo, if I didn't have
Mhm.
kids, that's it. I would be the next Kyle Rittenhouse or something. I would be signing up for a militia or something. You know what I mean? But because I'm a woman and I'm freaking old already and I got kids, I can't really do that. But like that's how I feel. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
I'm angry that they out for my guy. You know what I mean? Like
I think everyone has their own definition of I guess, being patriotic. They'll be patriotic in their own way.
yeah. This comment says from Jay. He says Americans take their right to vote for granted. In other countries, people lay down their lives to gain the right to vote. And that's exactly
Mhm.
why I will always advocate for people to take advantage of the American freedoms that we have, because other people don't have it. So I understand that. I get that.
Mhm.
100%. I even tell Tony, register to vote. You better vote. You better, get
Yeah.
involved in your community.
Ruby,
Yes, go ahead.
you s- you go to an Orthodox Christian.
I do. Yes, a church, an Orthodox church.
What is it? What do you actually like learn there?
So basically, it's like Orthodox Catholic. So if you've ever been to a Catholic church, or if you visit one, then you'll know like how the mass goes and stuff like that. They call it liturgy, and it's basically worshiping all morning. They do prayers, and they bring the Eucharist out, which is the communion, and they give blessings and things like that, and they read the gospel. And then that's about it. The priest only gives like a 15-minute, 30-minute little sermon or like a talk, and then that's about it. It's very
Did you go?
simple, and
So you go every what?
every Sunday.
Every Sunday? So they read from the Bible?
Yeah, they read from the gospel and they read from the other I think they call it epistles, I think they call it. And so they do readings like a portion of it, and then the services continue. It's a lot of praying and a lot of worship.
Oh, I just wanted to ask that. What if like
Mhm.
what we're voting for,
Mhm.
right? Because we just like left a high control group, right?
Mhm.
Which was the governing body.
Mhm.
What if this whole government thing is just another control group of a governing body? It's just more massive. Because
I would say it is. It's just a
okay,
different it's just a different form. It functions
yeah,
differently.
yeah. So like you're all right. Now I'm gonna get a little bit more personal. So you're like I never like conformed to the belief system of Jehovah's Witnesses because they always said that they always not they always say something like Jehovah has a personal relationship with us, right?
Mhm.
So it's like, okay, well, damn, I'm trying to make a point,
Mhm.
but I can't make it. All right, but it's like, okay, what do you think about Babylon the Great?
I don't know. I kind of they drilled that was false religion to us.
What if the United States was Babylon the Great? Have you ever heard that?
Yes. I've heard so many different theories and so many different things, but I have not gone down that rabbit hole enough to have an opinion about it. But I understand your line of thinking. And I
Yeah,
understand that that's probably why you come across as if you don't want to participate or vote into that, because it's almost like you're replacing one thing with another thing. You know, like that's your idol, that's your God. People take it to the extreme. I get that. And not all like Orthodox Christians or Christians in general get into politics and make it a big thing. I certainly don't. I just do it for this. You know what I mean? Like for the community, for educational purposes, and because I'm just passionate about it.
yeah,
Other other than that, I do not care who's the president or whatever. I would like to get more like physically involved in local elections, like primaries and city councils and town halls and, like different meetings like that. Because in my opinion, that's better than voting for president. And me and Tony talked about this on the phone too. She was like, we should stop focusing so much on who's the president and focus more on local elections, like your governor, your mayor. And I agree with that. But everything that we're seeing right now with Donald Trump is what's bothering me, because before Donald Trump became president, like before 2016, I've never seen this type of rhetoric, this type of energy, tension, just division in America. It was never like that when I was a little girl. Ever since Donald Trump came into the picture in 2016, it was like everything changed. And that's what I noticed. Everybody and everything changed, and it was like a slippery slope into what we have today. And that's what I'm getting at. I want to go back to normal, because I don't even know what normal is anymore, but that that type of thinking of like I want it to be the way it was when I was little. I want the peace in America that we had before. I don't see that, and I don't feel it. So if I'm uncomfortable, think of the millions of other Americans who are uncomfortable, can't even raise their kids, can't even afford things, basic food and living arrangements. Why?
yes. Okay, since we were born, nothing has been comfortable. Like, okay, everybody has different like situation, different. Ah, damn, can I talk?
Yeah, go ahead.
Right?
I'm listening to you.
It's because everybody has different lives, right? But like
Mhm,
nobody's life is perfect. Like
mhm,
everybody has some some like everybody goes through things in their lives, right?
mhm.
Like personal stuff, right? So like we can't really truly say that we had like this all like peaceful life because there was always struggles through our lives. You know what I'm saying? and we always like like once we're born here, like we're just like taught these things from outside, like from family members, from TV, from like teachers. It's like that's why the Bible says like a generation comes and a generation goes. And it also says like in a like I can't really like cherry pick the Bible. I don't like using that word cherry pick because there's people that say this is why in this book it says this and that, and they'll bring up like a chapter and they'll bring up a, you know what I'm saying? But I know it's, and I know it says like in Ecclesiastes that there's nothing new under the sun. So it's
Okay.
like what if we already what if this is a past life and we already like been through this situation and like,
Again, I don't believe that. I'm gonna be straight up with you. I just
okay,
don't believe that. I live now in the present. You know what I'm saying? Like when we were JWs, we were always looking to the future about this fake paradise, something that we had to have faith for. You know what I'm saying? And then I was always living for the future, always looking forward to something instead of living in the present and doing things now.
yeah,
So I can't I can't reverse that wheel and say, oh well, maybe we lived in the past, or maybe this is happening again, like if like deja vu or something. I can't do that because I'm too much in the present, if that makes sense. Like I am so focused on right now, and the future I can't go there, the past I can't go there. I'm here right now, and what I'm
but that's
seeing happening right now is just unacceptable. Like we should be the adults that our parents, we
but
should have the country that our parents had, or the generation before that. You know what I'm saying? Like that's why the slogan "Make America Great Again." That's what got me, because that's exactly what I want. I want to make America great again, because it was great, and then something happened, and we know what happened, and then we want to go back to that.
you don't
If
think
that makes
USA
sense.
is like, you don't think you don't think like USA is getting its karma because I heard that like USA has been like been a bully to other
It's
countries
true.
and
Hmm.
like like okay, I'm just gonna be straight up. Like, okay, remember the first book like I was talking about when I first came on,
Hmm.
but I was like kind of quiet about it,
Hmm.
and I started to mention it. Well, like it mentions like we live in cycles, and like this has already happened before, but we just don't remember. I'm just talking about the books and the collective of the 8 books all as one.
Hmm.
So this is why like in the Bible like it mentions the future, like it mentions the future and it predicts the future, but Babylon, it decodes Babylon, and basically America's Babylon, and there's no really true freedom, and this is not a reality, and we
Hmm.
enter this simulation, and and we're trying to wake up, and the elites know what I'm talking about, so this is why everybody's against each other, and
Hmm.
and this is really nerve-wracking for me to talk about because I don't really talk about this, but like sometimes I feel like I'm gonna do this all over again, and it's just. But the whole point is because there's even Christians that are saying that they have this urgency to like street preach and say that um, Christ is coming back and the world is going to end. Have you ever had dreams about the world ending?
No.
I have, and I'm pretty sure people have experiences of heaven and hell and the world ending, and I just know like there's Christians like street preaching and they're saying that Jesus is coming back. If you don't get right with him, that you're going to hell, and if you don't repent, the end is coming. Just admit that people are
I believe
talking
a
about,
little bit about that. I do.
yeah, people are talking about the end times. Like we're living in the end times, and it's scary. But the
Hmm.
like like the book mentions, like we already live this life, and like you mentioned, like you don't live in the past or the future. We live in the present, and that's the only way to get out. Remember the first time like I got on this live and I was trying to say that,
Mm-hmm.
but it's
I totally get you. And I think that the more you talk about it openly, the more comfortable you'll be talking about the things that you actually believe in, even though other people disagree. I've had to go through the same thing. And so I think you're doing really well articulating yourself. And if you have any other thoughts that you remember later on, just text it on Discord. Really
okay.
quickly, Joseph in the chat is saying to drop this subject is not going well. So Joseph, if you have anything that you would like to talk about, click the link and join us, Joseph, if you want to be a part of the show. Hi, Jimmy.
Hey, good evening. How's everybody doing tonight?
Doing good. Okay, so now that Jimmy's here,
Just real quick, what did that Joseph guy just say?
you mean this one?
I
He
can't.
is talking about eschatological doctrines. I don't even know how to pronounce it.
The one you just mentioned, something about this topic of Trump not going well or whatever.
Oh no, he said to drop this subject is not going well.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, all right. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. I mean, if he has something better, I mean, just come on the stream, honey. Like, the link is right there. Okay.
Well, we could go back to the topic of discussion: Trump's assassination attempt. Yes.
Okay, Jimmy, give me your thoughts. I saw your premiere, so I already know a little bit of how you feel, and I follow you on Twitter. But I'm angry, and it's not the type of anger that you can lash out. It's not the type of anger that is the violent type, and I'm just permanently upset.
I completely understand that. What were your takeaways from the video I did earlier today on this assassination attempt?
Okay, before I jump into that, I had to mute you because there's a lot of feedback in the background. So if you want to talk, just private chat or type in the chat and then I'll unmute you, okay? I'm not trying to silence you. Okay. So when I saw your video, there was like a podcast that you were showing. And
Yeah.
it was kind of like the same things we've been seeing on Twitter, just in voice form. So it's kind of like I saw the things that he was talking about already. I'm just glad that he was talking about it. He was saying it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, you want to start off with a question or something, or where you want to start at?
Well, first of all, yes. Question: do you think this is a show still? Do you think that this is still staged? Do you think that this is still like theater, that we're just watching this happen and Trump just seems to he can't be touched? Like, I don't know what it is.
90% of it, yeah, I believe it's all a movie that we're watching. And the reason I say 90% of it is because there are still small fragments of the deep state out there that are still going to fight. They're still going to try to push the buttons. But the thing is they are going to fail in the end. I mean, there's just, for me, there's no question about that, because of everything that I've seen transpire over the last 4 years and things that I thought wouldn't happen did. And so it's very interesting to watch. When I heard about this assassination attempt, I didn't freak out. I didn't freak out.
Me neither.
Yeah, good.
Not this time, Jimmy. I was furious. Like I said in the Twitter DM, I said I feel like there's a fury brewing inside of me. Like it's just a permanent, really sunken in me, that I am upset. Like I'm angry.
Well, there's one thing that you got to be aware of is what these folks are trying to do. These deep state operatives, globalist operatives. The best way that they can keep control is some type of war. You got to think about all the wars that we've seen since since after Civil War. We've seen so many, and they know how to operate and benefit financially off of wars. We see them so hard pushing a World War III. We do know that they want a civil war here in the United States. They they are going to push buttons that they're going to try and get the patriots to react. They want us in the streets. They want us storming things and throwing a fit and basically doing what BLM did in 2020. That's what they want.
Okay, hold on, Jimmy. Okay, exactly that, right? Why can't we have that same type of energy, but for the people, to take down the deep state type of protest?
What type of energy? What type of energy are you referring to? Taking out, setting your own communities on fire, or doing something like that? Is that the type of energy that we're looking for?
No,
Okay.
no. I mean, I don't want to say that, but like, I feel like something has to be done. I don't believe in destroying communities. That's a given. But like, we should be coming out in numbers. We should like the million MAGA march, when everybody went there and we were all saying stop the steal, protests and things like that. That's what I'm talking about.
That day's coming. I'm gonna tell you, that's going to happen. Like I said, I went to January 6th, and I'm not even shy about that. I'm not even sorry that I went. I am happy I went that day, because at the beginning of that day, the energy, the positive patriotic energy that I felt from all those people was amazing. It was a level of patriotic pride that I had in our country that I've never really had before. All right. And what we have to do is kind of what you mentioned a little while ago, is we've got to take the energy that we have to make things better. And yes, we do need to get involved locally. We do need to go to school boards and city councils and things like that, because that's where it starts. Grassroots movements don't start at the top. So, and what people really need to understand, and I know it's very difficult for y'all, some of y'all, to accept this, but what we're seeing, see, I'm getting my coat off now. What we're seeing, folks, and we're seeing a military-civilian alliance. Okay, the military has their own job they have to do. The civilians, we have our job to do. And what's our job? Our job is to do what we're doing right now with these podcasts, educating people, showing them different things. Hey, have you looked at this? Have you looked at that? Okay. The other job of the civilians is to get involved locally. Take that anger, take that frustration with the system as you see it, and go freaking do something about it. That's why I went to the school boards. That's why I spoke out at the school boards in 2020. That's why I'm very much considering a possible run of some type of office one day. And when you spend that energy doing that, and you're doing your part and the military's doing its part, I can go into more about that later, but whatever. What is happening right now is something that's never been tried before in history. It's always been the military doing it, or, civilians will revolt against the military. There's never been what we're seeing today going on. And that's why it's so frustrating for folks, because a lot of people will say, well, why can't the military just go in there and take care of it? Well, there's a lot of people that don't know what's going on. And I
wouldn't want that. And I wouldn't want that, honestly, because that should be like the last resort. Because once the military gets involved, I feel like we really don't have any rights as the people.
In the way that people think about the military getting involved, I will agree with that statement, because people would see it as a coup. They would see, then the whole martial law and that whole scare tactic sets in. Okay. But what I do see happening, and I put it out on my Facebook page when I was on Facebook, where I said that military is the only way. And I said also, too, do not be surprised if you see National Guard operating on the streets of America. in certain cities. Because I do
Like New
believe,
York City.
correct. Because what happened is when Donald Trump was in office, he federalized the National Guard, and that gives them the ability to work with the Marines, which that's a wartime thing, which gives the military the right to operate on foreign soil, or I'm sorry, on American soil.
Right.
So the Posse Comitatus Act doesn't apply here. The military can go do what it needs to do. And I think you're starting to see a setup with that with Springfield, Ohio, with Aurora, Colorado, what's happening in San Francisco, what's happening in New York. And I got a feeling, and this is just a guess, a speculation, is I got a feeling that we might see Biden be the one to call out the National Guard to take care of these cities and get them all straightened out.
Oh, wow.
Because you got to think about the optics. If Trump were in office and he called out the National Guard to go into these cities, what would the media say?
Yeah, that he's a tyrant, that he's a dictator.
So if the Patriots are in control, what's a better chess move? Have Biden do it. And I think that's what we're seeing a buildup to, especially since these cities and the illegal immigration issue has been on the table a lot over the last 6 months. I think we're seeing that narrative build to where we'll see something like that. On the other hand, the deep state, they have their little moves that they want to try to make. And they're going to try to do everything to piss off patriots, whether that be try to take out Donald Trump in an assassination attempt or something else that'll get the patriots all mad, and they want them in the streets. We're not going to be the ones in the streets because we know that's what they want.
I get you. Go ahead, Jesse, if you have any thoughts, and then I want to show this clip, and this is another reason why I'm so angry when I see stuff like this on the news is with this clip. So go ahead, Jesse, and then I'm going to show the clip.
Ruby, Jimmy is 100% right. He's right. It's a trap. Remember Star Wars? Don't fall the trap. Use your anger. Look, my name is John Brown, but I'm Mexican. He was 10 years too early, and he almost ruined the abolition movement. You gotta harness that anger. Use it. We're going to pick conservative-minded people, libertarian-minded people, all the way down to dog catcher. You know, I live in Yuma. Yuma is surrounded by Democrat progressive counties in Central California, Tucson, everywhere. But Yuma's a little island of conservative Republican since Barry Goldwater and before. And we haven't surrendered. Everywhere around us are full of communists except Yuma. Why? Well, what we got to do now is we got to take every kitchen table. We're going to use that anger that you have. We're going to talk at every kitchen table. We got to pick off one family member in every house. We got to move to the blue states, the red states. We got to go where the Democrats are, and we got to get them on defense. Like we got to go over to California. Our California brothers have to preach conservatism more than ever. Now, Abraham Lincoln, he did that. He preached America from the mountaintops. He preached freedom and the Constitution. 407 years ago, our fathers brought forth on this continent a new nation. And it was conceived on that. So that anger that you have right now, it is, I know our electoral system sucks. I know. I'm not a Pollyanna. We've seen the cheating. I was with Gilbert. We saw it. And you can lose your life if you call the cops on it. It's reverse. But it's the only thing we have. But if we fight in every district, like Jimmy talked about, the school board, if we fight at dog catcher level, if we fight at public works, if we fight in the corporate commission, we fight everywhere. We don't surrender 1 inch.
Correct.
Right.
We're like who was that guy? Not Robert De Niro, Al Pacino. On this team, we fight for every inch. We fight, and we put the Democrats on defense. Put them on defense. They're going to spend their money on red states that they normally hold. So we're going to grow the base. And guess what? The John McCains are dying out. The people are taking the struggle for freedom right now in the United States at different times in diverse places. The struggle for freedom was in different parties. For example, in 1860, it was in the New Republican Party. In the time of 1960, it was with John F. Kennedy. Today, it's in the Republican Party. It shifts and there's freedom for everybody. But today, we're fighting the rhinos. We're fighting the establishment in the Republic. They hate us. We, the people. They hate us. We got to harness that hate and go out and preach freedom. And we're going to gain 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 people in every household.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, good point. Okay, this clip, Jimmy, I know you've seen it, but this is one of the clips that really gets me upset because they don't even hide it anymore.
Oh, yeah.
Having Trump not only have had the codes, but now having the classified information for Americans and being able to put that out and share it in his resort with anyone and everyone who comes through should be terrifying to all Americans, and he needs to be stopped. Having
Yeah, I played that earlier in my live.
Yeah.
I didn't hear it. Good. Play it one more time. I've never seen this before.
Ah.
Can you play it again?
Yep, let me get that again.
Did she have a mental freeze, or was that done on purpose?
That's what I'm saying. And this is what gets me upset because I'm like, that's not I don't believe in coincidences. I don't believe in mistakes. She meant to say that. They're not even hiding it anymore. And this is what gets me sick and tired because they want to talk so much about Trump, but then they say stuff like this.
Was it a Freudian slip or was it a purposeful thought? I don't know.
Okay, one more time.
having Trump not only have had the codes, but now having the classified information for Americans and being able to put that out and share it in his resort with anyone and everyone who comes through should be terrifying to all Americans, and he needs to be stopped. Having Trump not only have...
Can I give you guys a different angle on how to... Who joined the chat?
Micah.
Welcome.
Oh, we got feedback now.
Mitch. Oh, am I giving feedback? I'm sorry.
I don't know. Let's see.
Let me lower mine up.
Yeah, because I got feedback.
Can you hear me okay too? Sorry, I didn't check this stuff very well.
Okay, I muted everybody. Okay, check.
Is it me?
It might. Okay. Check. Okay, I think Jimmy, I think it was Jimmy. Check. Okay, I muted you, Jimmy. There's no feedback. I think it's Jimmy. It's you, Jimmy. Okay, well, you know what? Go ahead and give us an introduction, Mitch. Go ahead.
Yo, how's it going? So
Yeah,
I'm curious, you guys shared that clip with I don't know the woman's name, where she just misspoke and said shot.
Mm-hmm.
What about the guy just the other day who called Haitians the N-word?
Well, who said that?
I don't have the clip up for me, but I mean, it can be both sides, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm going to be honest. I have not seen that or heard that.
Or what about J.D. Vance saying yesterday that he made up the story about Haitians eating pets?
Well, I mean, that has been on the internet. I've seen it on Twitter. I've showed the clip of the police officer. That was just one
of the
story.
American woman who was having a mental health break, who wasn't Haitian at all.
That's what has been said. I have not read that for myself. I haven't seen it for myself. So I am going to, I mean, if you have any links that you would like to share with me, definitely share that.
Well, I've seen that clip. I've seen the guy carrying a couple of dead geese, and people saying he stole them from
that as well.
That story has also been debunked as roadkill that he picked up. There's people showing pictures of a cat on a grill, and you wouldn't believe these dumb idiots think that that's a cat because it's a spatchcocked chicken. You like butterfly out the chicken, and they don't even know what a spatchcocked chicken looks like. So, but I mean, this bullshit story about Haitian immigrants eating pets has led to bomb threats in Springfield, Ohio. How do you guys feel about that?
I'll let Jimmy go ahead, Jimmy.
Micah, do you know what the ritual?
It's
I'm
Mitch,
sorry, Mitch.
It's all good. You're probably on a phone. Didn't see the little. I bet
Yeah.
there's.
Do you know what the ritual tradition is of the Haitian people?
I don't really know.
Do you know that they do eat animals to sacrifice to their god?
No, I don't know that.
That's
But
true.
I bet they also eat what we would have as pets in third world countries all the time. You know.
Well, yeah, because they don't. The other countries, they don't have a bond with their animals like Americans do.
Or different animals.
That's true.
Sometimes.
But the thing is if you look at what their actual tradition is when it comes to doing that, it is a sacrificial ritual that the Haitians perform all over that country. And it's to their religion of juju.
I don't know what holding up a sign saying the governor of Ohio debunked bomb threats when
that
schools
happened
have
today.
literally been closed.
All right,
Places have literally been closed because of these threats.
Let me go back to this real quick to talk about this whole cat and dog thing. Do you think that an illegal immigrant is going to come over here and assimilate to our culture right away?
No, I don't think. I think it's a challenge. Yeah.
Okay. So what would they do to feel normal?
Juan really wants to be unmuted, by the way.
What would they do to feel normal? To have some sense of normalcy. They're in a foreign country. They don't know the language. What are they going to do to feel comfortable?
Right. They're going to practice their own culture.
Okay. So how hard is it to not think that they would go out and do this to pets?
Yeah, but we don't live in ifs and buts and fantasies.
But that's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about
and
normal.
No evidence.
I'm talking about human behavior, what they're used to doing.
Okay. First of all, let's talk about one thing. They're not illegal Haitian immigrants, are they?
Did they come over here legally?
Yes.
How?
They were invited by that city to come and restore that city because it was a destitute bankruptcy wasteland.
And do you know how much money was paid to the city officials to allow that to happen?
No, I don't.
Go look
I'd
it
like
up.
to see the evidence of. Oh, go look it up. Okay, yeah, sure.
Dude, okay, I'm not. If you're going to be like that,
Yeah.
I'm not going to discuss anything with you.
Well, anyway, no,
who's on?
my name's Ron Pomo, and I came here to face you guys because you guys.
Oh, you're Ron Pomo.
Can I say
And
something?
so I wanted to come on here and show you I'm not a coward. And I think this whole stuff about like the Haitian immigrants that you guys were going on about and Trump went on about is racist bullshit.
Okay,
And
can you
it's
give me one
proven
second?
racist bullshit.
One second. I'm gonna remove everybody from the panel because I think this is just a me and you issue. So I want to thank you for coming on here.
Okay,
Yeah,
well,
the
Jimmy called me out today too. So if Jimmy wants to, that's fine. But
Yeah, but I was the one who called you out. So I'm glad that you came here.
oh yeah.
Now, well, the reason why I did that, just to let you know, is because you did block me on Twitter and you did not.
Yeah, and I have a
cite
great
this
reason for
tweet.
telling you why I blocked you on Twitter. I'm happy to tell you
If
why.
you would like to tell me why, I would appreciate it.
I don't like you.
That's
do
it?
we have to like each other just because we're XJWs and we have completely different ideological beliefs after leaving Jehovah's Witnesses? Because you
No.
equate it to I'm shunning you.
Because that's the only way that I can express it, because that's how it feels. I don't have anything else to compare
That's fair.
it to.
You know, we have that shared experience of being shunned by our families. And I have empathy for you, and I don't know your whole story, but I'm sure you faced it in your family in some way. I don't know your story.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
We've all shared that same experience.
mm-hmm.
But outside of that, you know, I heard you and Jimmy the other day, because you know, I'll also admit this: when I was coming in on the debate and leaving little comments,
Mm-hmm.
Jimmy called me a troll. And you know what? I can admit when sometimes I'm a bit of an asshole. And I came in here to see, because you guys like to talk about you're just a place to discuss politics, but you guys are like, what's the term? Oh man, my brain just went. It's an echo chamber in here. It's a right-wing echo
that's
chamber.
exactly why I invite different people from
Yeah.
different backgrounds. I mean, a lot of
But-
the XJWs all disagree with me and they come on here and they talk about it. But you just said that the reason why you blocked me was because you didn't like me. And so
Because yeah,
Mhm.
because you post stuff that is offensive to me.
Okay, that's a valid reason. I think that's better than just saying I don't like you. I think that would be a
But-
better. I can accept that.
So what, if we find that you say something offensive or I said something that you find offensive, why, because we have a shared background, do we have to continue to be around each other? Because I heard it framed the other night that we're not, you're shunning someone by blocking them, you're holding on to that JWism.
Well,
by
yeah, that's
doing
how I
that.
can compare it. That's exactly how I compare it.
Right.
But this is the point. We don't have to be in the same circles. We don't have to interact on social media. We don't have to do any of those things. But if you blocked somebody, like before we had this interaction, I don't know why you blocked me. So I don't have a reason for it. I could only assume that it was because of my posts. And I get that. I understand that. Not everybody is going to like what I have to say. That's perfectly fine. But if you block somebody without giving a reason, and then you come in the chat to somebody who you've blocked on Twitter, and you know who I am, I don't know who you are because I don't know what your face looks like. You go by a different name and by a different picture on Twitter. How do you think I would feel if this guy came into my chat on my show and started talking and commenting on my show and what I'm discussing,
Totally fair.
when he blocked me on Twitter for disagreeing with me, that I can assume I didn't know
Totally
those
fair.
things
Totally fair.
until you came here courageously and told me to my face that you didn't like me. And that's okay, because I don't care if somebody likes me or not. But I would respect you more if you told me that before you blocked me, and then I can have an understanding. But you didn't do any of that. And then you came into the chat and then you were just talking, within my chat group. But I think you can understand where I'm coming from.
No, fair point. 100%. Got you. Like I said, I admitted I was coming into your chat being antagonistic, wasn't I? And it was fun. You guys were having fun making bullshit, your side of the things on the debate. And it was an echo chamber. And there was maybe 2 other people who were pushing back on some of the crap that was happening during that debate.
And I wish more people would come on. I totally wish more, but a lot of people have
declined. Do you understand why people wouldn't want to come here when you degrade them so much for having a different political
That's your opinion, because I have not degraded anyone. If you can show me where I did, then I can admit where I was wrong, but I have not degraded anybody. I didn't put anybody down. No, I invite everybody from different opinions to come on here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I see it differently when you look at the other side of the political spectrum and you start calling them names like communists or other Marxists, which, define those for me, please. Or you start saying anyone who supports a Democrat must be a pedophile. I'm not saying those aren't your words. I don't know that you said that, but I'm saying that that's a common thing that I hear in these circles. And
that is not this circle. And you're right. It's not something that I have said. You're projecting a lot of your feelings that it's just not true. And I'm going to be upfront and honest with you that is not the intention of this show. I do not entertain any of that ideology. I only give my own opinions and I let everybody else come on with their opinions. And this is more of an educational thing for me because I'm still learning about politics.
True,
and I share that with others. So that's where I'm trying to, reach to the other side of, your side of XJWs who are probably leaning left. And that's okay. But when you block somebody, you end the discourse before it even starts.
Can I read one of your tweets, Ruby?
Sure.
I will no longer be playing nice with lefty XJWs.
Correct.
And then
I said that on the last stream.
So when I see hate comments, I will not be silent anymore. It's rude and even more disrespectful coming from another XJW to say you left one cult for another, which I've heard that said on this channel about lefty XJWs. When you have freedom to no longer be neutral and to be vocal about anything you want, so don't get mad when you get blocked or challenged with your demeaning comments.
I totally agree with that. You know why? Because that was in reference to Lloyd Evans. That's what he told me and then he blocked me as well. He said that I left one
Sure.
cult for another.
Yeah.
And that was very disrespectful to a cult survivor. When I have done my research, I was not indoctrinated to become a Republican. All of my opinions are my own. I do my research. I am in communication with other people. This is not an echo chamber when I have different people from different backgrounds and different perspectives. So yeah, that's exactly how I truly feel. But I'm not going to block somebody, not tell them why. I'm going to be upfront and I'm going to tell you why. So he didn't do that.
What? Yeah, I don't feel the need to tell strangers, like, you know the whole you don't need to announce your departure thing when people leave. Some group, they're like, I'm out of here. I don't see it that way. If someone I don't really know is upsetting me or offending me or posting stuff that I find offensive, why would I need to explain that to them?
You can just unfollow. You can just unfollow, but you went the extra mile and then you blocked.
You can't unfollow on Twitter. You just.
Of course you can. You can unfollow the person.
I think
you can mute the person and you don't see their post anymore. But this is
you have issues with muting too.
The only reason why I had an issue with it was because of that extra mile that you did, and you have the right to do that. I don't care. But there's an XJW group on community section there, and you are a moderator, and I couldn't join the group because you blocked me. Okay. So that's the only reason why I had an issue with it. Because your personal preferences, do that on your own profile. But if you're going to be a moderator for a public group for all XJWs and it has nothing to do with politics, I couldn't even join that. So that's what it feels like, being excluded. That's what it feels when I compared it to soft shunning, because I can't even join a group of other XJWs because I'm in the community, whether you like it or not, whether you disagree with me or not. Those things shouldn't stop us from talking, stop us from associating, stop us from being friends. We can respect each other and we can move forward. If you don't want to follow me, fine. Sure. You want to block me, fine. But if you're going to be a moderator, I think that's unfair. That's the only issue that I had with that.
Okay, so that was actually the primary reason I joined here tonight, because I had to go back after Jimmy responded to another comment where I was being antagonistic on a different channel. And I had to go back and rewatch the stream because I was in and out during the debate. I didn't sit here and I wasn't just listening and not commenting with you guys talking about me. So I went back and watched it and was like, what is she talking about? I'm not a moderator on any group. Mm-hmm. So then I had to go look. Oh, Twitter, XJW, there's a group there. Mm-hmm. The guy who started that made 4 or 5 people that he was friends with moderators automatically. He didn't ask me. He just made me one. I went in today and removed myself as being a moderator from that group because I don't want to be accused of holding people out from any groups at all. I don't have that control. I'm not on Reddit. I'm not on any other groups. You and I are in other groups on Discord and on Facebook. And, I have no issue being around you in those groups. So anyway, I removed myself as a moderator from that group. I didn't even know. It's actually kind of lame. There's been 12 posts in the last 6 months. It's go make it wild, and have fun in there. But that wasn't anything of my doing. So,
well, thank you for coming on, and thank you for sharing.
If you're still blocked, it's not because of me. That's what I wanted to say there. So
awesome. Thank you so much.
And to Gigi, there's that, and I drink a whole milk latte every morning. So I don't know what the soy boy thing was, but yeah, it's fun.
Can I ask one question?
Thank you for joining.
Yeah, Jimmy, you can.
Ruby, I just want to ask you one question. I've always told everybody in my activism that I'm willing to talk to anybody and have a discussion with anybody as long as it's mutually respectful. My question for you, Mitch, when you came on to the stream last week and were making comments, and when you were on earlier, you just admitted that you were being antagonistic. Yeah, you were antagonizing people. Do you think that that's being respectful?
No, not entirely all the time. No.
Okay. So my question then would be, if you're not being respectful in your own words, then why would you expect others to extend the same respect to you? But then when we don't, then you start to gaslight and project.
You can say the exact same thing for this group of people that's right here.
I'm not talking about these groups. I'm talking about you.
Okay, but what about you, my man?
What have I done that's been disrespectful to someone?
I have no examples tonight, but
Okay, then. So,
I'm-
You just
I'm-
flipped
but
off.
we have examples of you.
You just flipped off GG. That's not disrespectful.
He called me a soy boy, and he told me to fuck off on the stream the other day.
Okay, respect is a two-way street. You don't respect
Uh-huh.
him, he don't respect you. Touche.
So
I don't respect people who share racist and bigoted stuff on social media.
A white boy is calling a Mexican a racist?
No, I did not call you that, sir.
No, not me. GG.
I don't know Gigi anywhere.
You flipped him off right now.
Because
he called
he
you a soy
told me
boy.
to fuck off and called me a soy boy the other
He's a
day.
Mexican and you're a white boy.
Mitch, I want to say this. Hang on,
Okay.
hang on,
Isn't that
Jesse.
racism? The racism that you're crying about? You look in the mirror, bro.
My whole point was.
I don't know what you mean there. Sorry, but go ahead, Jimmy.
My whole point was, and I'm saying this respectfully to you, just as a man to man.
Man.
You weren't being respectful to the chat last week. You weren't being respectful earlier today, and kind of sort of not being respectful this evening. So when you act like that, what do you expect to get back?
That's the point.
Yeah, no, that's fair. But I'm antagonistic when other people get antagonistic.
But no one even knew you were around. You just showed up in the chat.
No, that's fair. I told Ruby. It showed up in my YouTube as an XJW thing going on YouTube during.
Yeah, but what about today with me?
What the messages on?
You were being you were antagonizing me today.
Yeah.
Why?
Because I think it's fair to point out and call out other people's views and ideologies.
Do you think there could be a better way to do that instead of antagonizing someone?
Sure, man.
That's you're just blowing that off. That was just you just whatever. You might as well just said whatever.
Whatever.
So you're not open to mutually respectful conversations. Am I correct?
No, I am.
You haven't shown it yet.
Okay, Jimmy. Well, that's
he
fine.
thinks he is. He's got gated community in the brain.
Well, I'm going to leave you guys because I have a little baby
upstairs. Snow. He's a classic.
I'm sure you're going to have fun complaining about me after all this.
No, we're going. Once you leave, we're going back to our conversation.
Hey, Mitch, can I speak to you just a moment? This is Wild Wall.
Go ahead.
Okay? Yeah. I wanted to say I appreciate you coming on. Is this the first time you've actually shown your face? If so, I want to shout out respect to you for that.
No, I've shown my face on live streams before, and I've shown my face when I testified before Senate and House committees in Washington State to push for mandatory clergy reporting bills.
Okay, good, great. I like to hear that. Okay, something
Cool.
Because I think you really are hitting on some topics and points, and I'm not arguing that point. But do you think Trump could have said something that actually was the truth, not trying to mislead nobody, but got some of the facts a little wrong, such as if instead of Springfield, Ohio, what if there was a cat that got killed and eaten, but it happened next door in Canton, Ohio? Would you, if you could see an actual...
People make mistakes all the time, man.
Right, but if I could show you an actual news report that was posted 6 days ago, would you give me your viewpoint on it and go into it assuming that nobody's right or wrong, but could there have been some facts that got distorted? Because Trump was on stage when he said that, right? And I'm 57, he's a bit older than me. We all make mistakes, slip with the tongue. But I would like to honestly hear your viewpoint about this newscast and see if you think maybe he wasn't trying to mislead or tell a falsehood, but he got some of his facts wrong. Ruby, if you could pull it up, I couldn't make the link, but if you'll scroll up and see where I typed under comments, this is an actual newscast from Ohio, and notice the mayor tries to make it all sound false at first in Springfield, that like Trump was totally lying. But I don't want to put words even in the mayor, but let's watch the cast if Ruby can bring it up. It's a short clip, but I really want to hear what you think about this, Mitch, and see if you think that maybe Trump was right in some things, but he got a few of his details wrong. And
well, yeah, I'll watch it. I really do have to get going.
I know, and that's why I wanted you to know it's really short. It's not a long cast. I'm just curious if you think maybe he was
Do
right.
you
and he-
do you think do you think Trump knew the facts of anything that you're going to show in this video, or did he just repeat something that was on Facebook or JD Vance told him or Twitter, or
Well, I would be,
The latter.
I
The
would
latter.
be having to look into his mind. But see here, I didn't know none of this until Trump actually admitted it. So I even told my son a while ago, I'm like, wow, I've never even heard about this cat incident. But see, over in China, this wouldn't even make the news because we probably all heard over in China eating a cat don't mean much to them. Am I right? I mean, have we all heard that? So, but it's the same thing. If we went over to India and eat a cow or ask for a burger, they view cows as sacred. They would look at us like we're the Antichrist. So all I'm wanting you to do is see this little short video and see if you think maybe Trump was just trying to say something happened. But we all can make a few errors and details, and I think that's what he may have did. But my question to you is: was he wrong? Was he wrong on saying that something happened about the cat, that it did get killed and eaten? And I don't know if Ruby was able to pull that up. It's I only
I don't
Sorry,
know.
Wild. I have not been able to find it because sometimes YouTube doesn't let you put links in the chat. So sorry.
Oh,
who did you say was on the video? I promise I'll go look it up.
it's
Mayor of something?
Yeah, the mayor of Springfield, but he actually says that it was false, but it happened in Canton, which any of you guys real familiar with Ohio? Is Springfield real close to Canton? Somebody in the chat said it's like next or a few miles over. I can't verify that. I'd have to look that up. But I think the story is valid, but he may have got some details wrong along the way. But I copied and pasted it under Wild Wall here. Where is it at? But it didn't put it in link form. So Ruby would have to actually copy and paste what I got into her browser. Does anybody see it there real quick under comments? Any one of y'all under my name, under Wild Wall, where I said, I even put Ruby, can you share this clip and see what he says?
Yeah, sorry, Wild. Send it to me on
Yeah,
Discord and then I'll forward it.
I'll look it up. But anyway, I'm going to leave you guys alone. I will apologize to Ruby for coming in antagonistic. Like I said, I removed myself as a moderator from that group that I really didn't even pay attention to. Yeah. So you guys have a fun rest of your night talking about all the rest of the stuff you want to talk about. So
thank you very much. I appreciate it.
And all the best in whatever any of you guys do, talking about Watchtower and the problems with that. So
on that we can agree, as long as we can let people know about the Watchtower.
All right.
Bye. Have a good night.
Have a good night, guys.
You too. I actually enjoyed that. It's nice to hear different opinions. Not everybody's going to agree.
Hi, Gigi.
Hey, Gilbert, he flipped you off hard. He don't like you.
Hey, I heard he flipped me off. I just want to say one thing. At my age, I enjoy it. I mean, I'm like, yeah, baby.
Hey, that's the most action you get, huh?
Yeah, anytime somebody flips me off at my age, I enjoy it. I'll get it wherever I can.
Dang, you're desperate.
I'm desperate. Hey, Jesse, about this Donald Trump assassination attempt, I can't really. I got the surgery here, so that's why I have my avatar. But Jesse, did you talk to them about the dehumanization? How Jehovah's Witnesses dehumanize the publishers, and then they disfellowship them. They go in for the kill. So this is what's happening right now with Donald J. Trump. Did you talk to them about that?
Well, me and Gilbert, we always fight, Ruby, because we say Gilbert believes that Jesus is the Son of God, and I believe that Jesus is God.
Yes,
because
hold on, W. Hold on.
He said, your father, you must be perfect as your father. So anytime we make a mistake, did you notice, Mitch, he mentioned all the mistakes we were doing? Like, for instance, when we talk about illegal immigration, let's say we talk about one thing wrong. We get something wrong. He won't talk about the 20 million people that come in. He won't talk about crime, or he just coming in illegally is a crime. It's a crime. But they won't talk about that. But if we say something wrong, and let's give Mitch the benefit of the doubt. Let's say Donald Trump was wrong on the dog and cats. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying for the benefit of argument. Did you know that us getting that wrong is a greater sin to the left than the 20 million or 30 million illegal immigrants coming in and destroying our immigration laws? That's why Jesus said you must be perfect. That's why I said you have to control your anger. And that's why Jimmy was talking about that. Hey, you got to channel your anger in a different way, in a peace. This is what lovers of peace and freedom do. We channel our anger in different ways. We don't go do what Mitch does, because the second we do it, we're held to a different account. Donald Trump is held more in contempt by the left for saying that people eat dogs than bringing in the whole third world into our country. For example, let's say the United Nations brings in the whole third world into our country. Donald Trump will still be a greater menace for what he said on that news. So there's no moral equivalence with the left. We got to be real careful. So Mitch was right. Let's say Donald Trump was wrong. We'll give him that. I will honor that. Okay, he's wrong. But that still doesn't excuse the 30 million people that came over our border illegally.
Right. And I think I handled that well. I mean, I am no longer okay, go ahead. W, go ahead.
All right. We're talking about illegal immigrants, right? But like, I believe this is karma because of what happened to the Indians, like the indigenous, like because what goes around comes around, and everything that we're talking about is biblical. It has been prophesied.
I see Jimmy nodding his head and Juan Brown is nodding their head. They are.
It has been
Ruby, you
prophesied.
can't let that pass.
Look,
you gotta
wait.
go.
Let me finish. I'm trying to make a point.
Okay,
what
go
they
ahead.
did to the
Just surrender your house, dude.
We have celebrated Thanksgiving through school, and it was a lie. They befriended them, and then they betrayed them, and then they made us go to these public schools. So like, if you want to be like real with it, like take it back to that, the whole war with Mexico and like America, it's just a never ending story. This is why nationalism is a form of divide. It's all the game. It's your outer template is the game. What's within, that's what counts. This whole nationalism thing that's why, yes, I was born in the USA, but I was just somebody that was born in the USA. Those are papers. That's not the real me. My name and my last name is just a character that I'm playing in this role of this simulation. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, it all comes down to a science. Like your brain matter, the brain, everything that you see from within comes from without.
Well,
Like,
W,
the only thing that you see.
Hold on, W.
Okay.
Hold on. I'm going to interrupt you because I just want to let you know that thank you for sharing your opinion. This is a prime example of what I just told Mitch, that I entertain all opinions and I respect that opinion of yours, but I will probably do an episode in the future about that. Like, if you really want to dig into, colonialism and those, colonial America and that type of stuff, I'm totally for it. And we will discuss that in the future. I just want to get Jimmy's opinion and Juan's opinion about what you just said, because I do want to move on to the other subjects that I want to get to. So really quickly, Jimmy, go ahead, and then Jesse.
I want to go back to what we witnessed a little earlier. I wanted to make a comment about that.
Okay, go ahead.
What you just saw there on a very minute level is what the controllers want to happen. He admitted to being antagonizing. I don't know why I can't say that word tonight. He wanted to get us all riled up and fussing and arguing and yelling and losing our minds. I've been at this for a little over 4 years now. Do you think that was the first time I've ever talked to somebody with that attitude?
No.
Mm-mm. So I've learned how to communicate with those folks. Mm-hmm. And the biggest thing to do is to stay calm and ask questions and make them very pointed questions. Because once you do that, they lose. As you saw him, he got ready to bow out after he just admitted that he wasn't being respectful. But what he was doing, like I said earlier in the show, was trying to get us all riled up. And that's what the deep state wants, is they want us all riled up. They want us in the streets causing problems so that they can create the little chaos that they enjoy. He admitted to enjoying what he was doing. It made him laugh.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the same attitude that the deep state has about dividing everyone. They enjoy doing it.
Yeah.
So that's all I wanted to say about that. It was a perfect example of what I was talking about earlier, just on a minute scale.
Let me
Now,
have a crack at WD.
okay, go ahead.
Jimmy, you are right. You're right, sir. You keep your cool. Keep your cool. Never fire till you see the whites of their eye. You're right. Great American tradition. Another great American tradition, confiscation of wealth. WD, I need your address in Florida. I need your address because I'm a Mexican immigrant. I'm one of those people that you advocate for. I come from Aztec and Spanish blood, and we immigrated from the South. And my dad came over in the 50s, and my mom came over in the 60s. Give me your address because we're going to take your house. We're going to give everything back to the natives, but we're going to start with your house and your checking account and your savings account and your college fund and your future kids' money. Let's start with you. Show the love that you have. Show it by sacrificing your wealth and your earnings, if you have any.
That's
Don't
the thing.
take
It's not
other
about
people's.
sacrifice. It's not about sacrifice.
Oh, but you
These-
can sacrifice us. You can sacrifice us. But you
How
don't
am I
sacrifice
sacrificing
yourself.
you? How am I
No, start off
sacrificing
with
you?
you.
It's not
Start off
about
with you.
sacrifice. It's about living. That's the whole point. Like these.
Where were you born? Where were you born?
What was I born? I was born here.
Guilty. You judge. You look in the mirror. You're attacking
I'm not
Americans.
judging.
You're
I'm not
yes, you
judging. I'm
are.
just.
You
I'm
told us
just saying
karma.
what goes around comes around.
That's not judging.
Because no, it's just a fact. I'm just saying what it is. I'm not saying that people deserve it. I'm not saying people deserve it.
Did you go to public school?
Yes.
Do you have a checking
Am I
account?
saying that people deserve what they got? No, I'm saying what goes around comes around. It's karma.
Okay,
We live in
1
a,
minute.
we
Jimmy's
live in a
waving his
cycle
hand.
of karma,
Hold
whether
on.
it's good or bad.
Okay, hold on, W. Go ahead, Jimmy.
Let me say something real quick about this whole karma comment. If you look at what's been going on over the last 200 years, like I said, there have been people that have been controlling and pulling the strings everywhere, even here in the United States. The same people that did what they did to the Indians, which I totally disagree with, the same people that did that and instigated all that are the same people doing what they're doing now by bringing the immigrants in.
Mm-hmm.
It is the same people doing the same thing. So it's not United States, the people ourselves, the citizens. It's not us getting karma. It's us being attacked by the same people that did it before.
But it is karma. It's just a fact.
How? How's it karma? I didn't do anything to them. Why should I suffer?
Okay.
Why should my kids? Hold on. Why should my kids have to go to school? Why with illegal immigrants and soaking up the funds of what we pay in?
But you're saying illegal.
But listen to this. Hold on.
I'm listening.
One more thing. My wife works at the health. Did I tell you this story yet?
Yes.
Okay, so my wife works at the health department, for those that don't know and didn't hear the story. Last week, she had a lady come in. The lady was from the United Arab Emirates. She came here in March only and left her husband at home and everything back there. She came here because she just wanted her kid to be born in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
She had her baby August 1st, and she plans on going back to the United Arab Emirates. Now, you think about her doctor's appointments, her going to the health clinic. Who pays for that? We do, the taxpayers.
Right.
Is that fair to us that our taxes go up to do stuff like that? Is that karma that we should receive? We didn't do anything to receive that karma.
I know we didn't receive. I know. But like, okay, Jimmy, nothing is fair in life.
I didn't say anything was fair, but there's
I didn't
also
say
the
you
rule of
said.
law. There's also
Yes,
the
I
rule
didn't
of law.
say you said that. I didn't say you said that. Did I said you say? Did I said you said? Now we just look like little kids trying to prove a point. I didn't say you said that.
No, I'm being straight with you.
Okay,
We're being
okay,
I'm,
straight.
okay. But
WDH, we're being
yes,
straight with you
there's
as
nothing
Americans.
fair in life.
You're
And what I'm
asking our
saying,
country. You're asking our
yeah,
country to quit existing. If you
yes. No, no, no,
compensate,
no,
if
no, no. I'm not. Don't put words in my mouth. Don't put words in my mouth.
no, that's the sum of your words. That's the
Oh,
sum.
okay, that's what just you're. That's what just you're assuming.
I did your
I'm just saying
addition.
it
I
is
did
what
your
it is.
addition, and we're done.
I'm not saying that people deserve the injustice that's going on within their
So
lives.
then don't justify it, W. That's the point. You're justifying it by saying, oh,
How
what
am I?
goes around
No, no,
comes
no.
around. Don't justify it at all. You should say it
I'm not
is wrong.
justifying it.
No,
I'm not.
Wrong
It's
though.
WDH, you
okay.
sound like
What?
Fidel Castro. You sound like
Yeah.
Maduro. You sound like the
No.
president of
No.
Mexico.
No.
You don't
Can I
sound
say
like an
something?
American. Look in the mirror, dude. Grow
Can I
up.
say? Can I say something? I
Mhm.
do
I hope
believe
you
what's
can.
right,
I wish you can. Something of
what's right, and
substance.
what's wrong. I do believe there's good and there's bad. There's right and there's wrong.
Then
And
why are
like
you
sometimes
wronging us? Then why are you wronging us? Go back in
I'm not
time and
saying
wrong
that you're
our
wrong.
fathers.
I'm not saying that you're wrong. I'm just saying it is what it is.
You wished
Like,
karma upon us, dude.
no, I don't. No, I
no, no,
don't, bro.
no.
No, I don't. Stop saying that. Stop
Just
saying that. I don't wish.
W,
I don't
W.
wish. I don't wish bad upon anybody. I don't wish bad upon any. I wish the best for everybody. I hope everybody has good lives. I'm trying to live a good life myself. Everybody's trying to just. Everybody's trying to just live their good lives, and you can't put an umbrella like under like a people that just because they come from a different race, like that's all I'm saying. Like, if when you hear these stories, I just feel like they're exaggerated to us to get us to like to fight with each other, because nationalism, like I said, I was born in the USA, right?
Then love it.
My parents are from Mexico, but I don't claim to be like a, yes, I am a US citizen, but that's just, I didn't choose to be that. Nobody choose to be born with where they were born. They're just born where they were born.
I
And
was
then they
born in
feel like they
Mexico. I
have
was
to,
born in Mexico, and I love America. WDH. I
yeah,
was born a
yeah.
Jehovah's Witness, and I wasn't allowed to do the flag salute, and I wear the flag every day.
Me neither. Me neither.
Come home. Why don't you love America? Come home. Give our side a try. The grass is greener on the other side, WDH.
Bro,
We
I'm
have
here
the
on
other
your,
side.
I live in the USA, bro, but
Not in
it's
your
just,
heart, you don't. Not in your heart. You live in Moscow. You live in Beijing. You live in Cuba. Come
Jesse, hang
home.
on. Jesse, hang on. Let me take her out. W, how old are you, bro?
I'm 33 years old.
33. My younger brother is 37, and me and him have had conversations, and I'll tell you that a lot of what my brother says is some of the stuff that you're saying, and
Yeah.
hold on, about living in a matrix and this and that. Okay, I get all that, and I understand that concept, and I can also, okay, fine, give you credit for saying you didn't choose to be born here in the United States. That's fine, you know. And I think what it sounds to me is you want everything to be fine. You want everybody to be happy and prosperous and living the best of their lives. Yeah, you do want that, but I don't think you understand where we're coming from when we talk about nationalism, because we have chosen for ourselves that we're proud of our country. We're proud to be able to live in somewhat more freedom than other nations. That we like that. And when we see something happening in our country that goes against that or threatens our rights, our independence, our liberties, then we're going to speak up. Now, it doesn't mean that you have to speak up too. You can just let everything play out and live your life and not worry about anything. That's fine. But for us, it's different, because we know not only are we fighting for our futures, but we're fighting for the futures of our children, of our grandchildren. You may not have those right now, but I do. And I want the America that I grew up in and that I'm proud of. I want that for my grandkids.
Right.
And I instill values in them to help them appreciate the country that we live in and the Constitution that's freaking saved our ass right now.
Right.
Yeah, I'm just.
So my last point about nationalism. If you want to get rid of nationalism, guess what you got to get rid of? The Olympic Games.
That's a good point. But W, we are going to move on. If you do want to continue this conversation, feel free to DM me on Discord and we will continue that. I do want to move on to another piece of information that I found on Twitter, and I'll get everybody's opinion on this. Benny Johnson tweeted, President Trump just dropped the receipts on every single Democrat who has contributed to the hateful rhetoric against him, which led to 2 assassination attempts. And
It's getting good.
And if you could see this,
I can't see it. I can't see it.
Okay, maybe I could zoom in for you guys. Because he quotes everybody and what they have said about him. And this is what I'm trying to get at. Because just like Jimmy said, we want the America that we used to have. I don't remember this happening when I was little. I don't remember all of these politicians going in as hard as they did with Trump. The worst one that I have seen was with Maxine Waters when she was literally telling people to harass Trump supporters. And that was way back when. And that's another, point of opinion that we can go around the panel and talk about that. And welcome back, Gigi.
Yeah, let's talk about that because that's the reason I came here. This is very important. I mentioned it earlier and then I got off, but they changed the subject. What you need to understand is that we had a New World Translation, the New World Order Bible. We were the lab rats. It works. You dehumanize a human being, you separate them from their family, you kill them. You kill them at the hospital. You kill their dreams. How do you do it? You dehumanize them and you call the apostates vermin. The birds are going to eat your eyes out in Armageddon. So you get the people ready by conditioning them to hate you and not view you as a human being. So fast forward, Watchtower now works for the CIA, I guess, because what you showed right there is the exact same thing. Donald Trump is not a human being. So if Donald Trump is not a human being, we can kill him. And Jesse and I talk about this stuff. It's the dehumanization, and they talk about you this way. How are they going to put you in a re-education camp that Hillary Clinton talked about yesterday? Simple. You're not human. You're a MAGA. You're subspecies. This is why they talk bad about MAGA. Because if you're not a human, they'll put you in a concentration camp. That's all I got, Ruby.
Yeah, exactly. let me just add something to what Gilbert said. If it walks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, it probably is a duck, and they're probably going to eat you in Springfield. But that's a joke. That's a joke because it's been debunked. But this is the point. The Nazis did that with the Jews. Remember, they called them vermin. The Jehovah's Witness, the governing body, they call us apostates vermin. You dehumanize it. A fetus in the tomb. Oh, it's not living. You dehumanize it.
It's a parasite.
So that's what you do. Now, the left, they'll say, well, Jesse, you called WDH a communist. You called him this. You called him that. Yeah, that's tit for tat. And that's why I say, if you walk like a duck, for example, WDH, he doesn't know he's a commie, but he was spewing communist lingo, collectivism, confiscation of wealth, classic communism. All I'm doing is shining a mirror on him. But what you just showed on the screen is different. They're calling for the extermination of a human being, one of our brothers.
Yeah,
We're not doing that. We're calling a duck a duck. There's a difference.
They say that he's a threat to the very soul of this country. He's a threat to democracy.
Can I comment on that?
Yes, go ahead.
Folks need to understand that every time they say something, every time they put it out there, they say a threat, that Donald Trump's a threat to democracy, a threat to the nation. These folks are projecting what they're doing. And this democracy that they're talking about is their system, the deep state Illuminati globalist system. That's what they're referring to. So when you hear Hillary Clinton or Barack Obama say, Donald Trump's a threat to democracy, what they're really telling you is Donald Trump is a threat to our way of life, he's a threat to what we've been doing to everybody.
Right.
That's what it is. And it's like, and we've used the expression before for the ones that haven't heard it. If you have a jar full of black ants and red ants, and you just leave that jar sitting there, they're going to get along fine. But you take that jar and pour it out, they all start fighting each other. So the question is, who shook the jar? It's these people that are saying that they're a threat to democracy. Or like Hillary Clinton said, oh, we might have to start locking up Americans for misinformation. Well, then the lady needs to start with herself for what she did with the Russian Steele dossier. So they are projecting what they're doing. And when they go, and going back to earlier in the video tonight, where that lady said, shot stopped. That's also a dog whistle. They send comms to their foot soldiers. So when they say stuff like that, there is a reason why they're doing it. It's not by accident. They like to try to play it off like they say, oh, we mistakenly don't know where $2.1 trillion went. So this is the game that people don't, this is why I try not to go tit for tat with anybody or getting the whole left versus right. Guys, I'm telling you with everything I have, it is the people of the world against these deep state globalist controllers. That's what it is.
Welcome back,
Hey, Ruby.
Gigi. Yeah.
Let me help you understand, and then what Jimmy Bell's saying, because you lived it already. He's absolutely right. I've said this a million times. We are no part of the world. The governing body says that. But when they say we, it's them, the governing body, because they do not go to jail for molesting kids. You do. See, they can steal kingdom halls and not go to jail because they're not part of the world. You will. If you imagine if you lent somebody money for 30 years and they paid it, and then you swipe their kingdom hall, yeah, that wouldn't go well for BVA, and that wouldn't go well for Wells Fargo. So he's right. We are no part of the world. They're telling you about the democracy. We don't have a democracy, a representative republic, but they're telling you the devil is always in the details. So they think, like he says, projecting. You think that they're talking about one thing. They're telling you the truth. It's just they play with the language. This is why Jesus says, let your yes be yes and your no be no. You and I don't talk this way. Jimmy don't talk this way, Jesse. We're always straight shooters. This is why they talk in gymnastics. So, but you lived it. That's what I'm saying. You've lived it with we are no part of the world. Now it all makes sense.
And you know what? We have to fight back. And there's a time and a place. We know there's going to be few of us that are fighting back. We understand the great majority is not going to fight back for our country. We know we can't expect nothing from WDH. He's not going to help in the takeover. We understand that, and we're okay with that. But in 1852, this thing about that they're saying the political rhetoric of today is too high. Go back to 1850s, 1860s, when our country was split into a civil war. It was the heat was on. Ronald Reagan in the 1964 RNC speech, he says, I wonder if we even know what it means to be free. You know that John Brown, when he went into some of the slave plantations, he opened the gates and he tried to start a revolution. You know what the black slaves did?
They stayed.
They stayed.
He was shell-shocked. He was shocked in the brain. because the human spirit was broken in a lot of people. The human
Right.
spirit was free in a lot of slaves, yes, but in some people surrendered. Some people, like Ronald Reagan says, I wonder if we even know what it means to be free. People think that they own a house. What good is owning a property if somebody else tells you what you can and cannot do with it?
Exactly.
Or you have to pay taxes on it every year.
Till the day you die.
Yes.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
And then when you give it to your son, they confiscate a portion of that.
Yeah, that should all be abolished. In my opinion.
See, but there's the point right there. You and I, we have to fight for this because there's so many people that want to take it and give it away. Oh, you got it because you stole it from the Indians.
Exactly. Okay. Can we? Yes. Let's. I wanna touch on that. That's exactly what people say when, unfortunately, respectfully, are uneducated. I'm not trying to offend anybody, but I used to feel the exact same way. My cousin even feels the exact same way, and it's because she just hasn't done the research. And I tell her, do the research, understand what these words mean, what communism actually means. Do the research. Look at the countries where it was implemented and see what happened. I used to go to the library, and I was literally reading the Communist Manifesto right there in the public. People were looking at me like, but that is how you educate yourself. I had to literally read it for myself to understand what do people mean when they say communism or socialism or fascism, supremacy, nationalism, things like this. And then you can find your identity through that. And you have to read literally what they say and what they mean by that. Once I realized what he actually meant by the whole ideology of communism, now I understand why the Democrat Party, they say these catchphrases. They say words like equity, like you said,
Collective.
collectivism. Yeah, exactly. So those are the types of buzzwords and phrases that now my red flag goes up because I actually read it for myself. But these people don't read anything, and they don't want to seem like a racist or something. And that's why they say these things, because like he said, oh, I want everybody to be happy. I want this. You want a utopia that doesn't exist. It does not exist. You need to protect your own country through borders, through safety, through rules and regulations. Like Jimmy said, the law. That's how we function, and that's how we protect it. You don't just give it up just because we have a dark history or a dark past or whatever. That has nothing to do with us. Quite frankly, we're in the present. Like I told W in the beginning, I don't live in the future anymore like I used to as a JW. I don't live in the past anymore, like how they want critical race theory and all this bull crap to be taught in school. No, I live in the present. I have nothing to do with any of those things that happened in America in the 1800s. We can learn from it, but I'm not just gonna give it all up just because we deserve it or what comes around goes around. I don't subscribe to that.
Mm-mm. I agree.
Hey, Ruby, you know what? And this is the thing about the communists. In the 1917 Bolshevik Revolution, when Vladimir Lenin had all the kulaks all stirred up, and you know what? He wanted to have a dictatorship of the proletariat. And you know what that means? The dictatorship of the proletariat? The proletariat of the masses, we the masses, they were the working class were going to rise up and kill all the business owners and the farmers and everything. And the kulaks were the ones that did all the work. And so the real communists, the ones who really had a good heart, the real communists who wanted to really have everything, they said, what are we going to do when we get power? We all get power. And Vladimir Lenin used to tell, no, you stupid. The power is going to lie in a central committee. We're going to have a dictatorship of the proletariat. And then he goes, but what are you going to do with all these masses that now are sharing power? And he's going to tell the kulaks, hey, you know who the real problem are? The richer kulaks. So they always had people fighting each other, a class struggle. But the people in charge were always in charge.
Mm-hmm.
But they kept all the working masses fighting each other.
I would like to see somebody give me an example of a country that instituted communism and where that country is at right now. I would like people to understand that communism is what killed over 100 million people in the 20th century. Why is it a good idea? It's been tried before. And as far as socialism, socialism is for the people. Socialism is not for the socialist. So when the people have everything rationed out, do you think the socialists are going to be rationing out their food? Or are they going to be eating lobster and steak while everybody's eating potatoes?
Yeah.
Boom.
When if we're under socialism, our dollar we can't get what we want, but a socialist can go out and buy $100,000 car.
Exactly.
How is that fair? And what people don't understand is they're defending and supporting a regime that wants to put socialism in America.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so they take advantage of the nobleness, like WDH, for example. He has a noble heart, a beautiful heart.
Yes.
All of us do. We want to have commonality. We want to have things. But the people in the top, the communists, the proletariat, they're going to keep us always fighting. Now, communism is defined by great Rush Limbaugh, for example. He said, we're all commonly miserable. It doesn't elevate the human spirit. Now, capitalism has its problems. Free enterprise has its problem. Yes, I understand. But like Jimmy said, there's a track record of hundreds of millions. Just in China, in the 1970s, when I was a little boy, you had the Red Revolution, the under Mao Zedong. It didn't make all the newspapers like it did in Germany. Hitler killed 6 million Jews. Do you know how many people Mao Zedong killed in the Great Purges?
Hey guys, I'll be right back.
Okay, Jimmy. I know W is back here. If you, I unmuted you because you have a little bit of a feedback, but go ahead. You have 3 minutes, and then I'm going to move on to my next subject. Go ahead.
What does the feedback mean?
Like we can hear ourselves from your end, so it sounds like an echo. So that's the feedback because we're getting back the feed. So
okay.
I'll let you give a point, and I'll give you 3 minutes to give your point, and then I'm gonna move on to another subject that I have. So go ahead.
I don't know what to say, but I don't know. You mentioned my name because like I left, but then I came back. But then you mentioned my name, like you said you live in the present.
Oh yeah. I was referring to the conversation that we had in the beginning of the stream. Yeah.
But it's just like, okay, when I say like we live in karma, it's like, okay, I understand that this world is the world of the dead. It's a 3D dimensional world. The world that we live in is the world of death. And our wages for sin is death. So we're reborn back in this world to pay back our sins. And the only way to get free is to connect back to the correct frequency. And the only way we could do that is from within. So like when it talks about like in the Bible in the beginning, it talks about Adam and Eve. Basically, it's just the story of us. This is why, like I mentioned, the first book just talks about like who our true creators were. The true creators are a father and a mother. It connects to the tree of life. The tree of life is the fruits of the spirit. And spirit, you can't corrupt spirit. Spirit is just within us. Fruits of the spirit cannot be intertwined with the sins of the flesh. The sins of the flesh, what are the sins of the flesh?
Lust, pride, gluttony, adultery, fornication.
That's what's
no, I get what you're I totally get what you're I get it. I agree. I agree to a certain extent. I agree with a certain extent because I do know that those things are completely separate. Like my cousin King Tony, she says the same thing. She says, why do you keep looking into politics or why do you keep looking into certain things like this? And I get where she's coming from. It's because we grew up with the mentality that Jesus is king and we vote for God's kingdom and things like that. I understand that.
Let me make a point.
Okay, go ahead.
What I'm trying to say is that the book it doesn't give you the answers. It makes you aware of the keys that you already have from within you to decode to decode the book and not just the Bible, everything around you, because everything around you is life and death. Everything around you is true and false.
Okay, so how does that help you in your life right now? That would be my question, because if that's what you believe and that's what you're reading,
Yeah,
right? How does
yeah,
it help your life right now? How does it help the problems that we're seeing? And this is a political stream, so I'm going to keep it political. How do you think that
yeah.
helps with politics? How do you think that helps with our
How does it
country?
help with politics? How does it
With
help with politics?
yes,
It's
and
because
our country.
it's because the, it's because they want us to look outside us to solve a problem, but it's not. No president is ever going to solve the problem, because even though they might think that they're doing good, let's
Right,
just say
right,
that they think that they're doing good, or let's just say that they're
right. I
evil
get you.
and they're totally misleading us. The game is rigged.
I get that, but okay,
It's
hold
just
on.
rigged.
Okay, but if you do
Okay.
believe that, I'm
Yeah.
gonna entertain this conversation until Jimmy comes back, and then I'll move on to my next subject.
Okay.
Okay, but if you really do believe that, right? In my
Yeah.
opinion, this is what we have right now. This is the government we have right now, whether we like it or not. This is the the
Okay. What
fabric
do
of
you
our
have going
democracy
on
right
around
now.
you? What do you have going on around you? Is everything okay in your life?
No, I don't think anything's perfect.
Okay, but where you at? You're at your house?
Yeah.
Okay, you have your kids and everything. Everything's all right.
Okay, but let
That's
me finish
all
my
that
point.
that's
Let me
all
finish
your
my
that's
point, because the
I'm sorry,
point is this
but
is
that's
what
all
we have
like
been
your
handed. Hold on a minute. We have been
okay,
inherited
okay,
this
okay.
government. We have inherited this land. We have inherited this society. We have inherited everything that United States of America represents. And what I'm doing is trying to preserve that, because I love this country and I love the freedoms of this country, right? We wouldn't want to take that
Yeah.
for granted, because in other countries, they don't have the same freedoms that we do. So we have to protect it 10 times more than any other country, because if a United States of America falls, the rest of the world falls. Because believe it or not, we run the world. We police the world. We are in charge. You want to call America a bully? Call them a bully. It's true.
But
Like, facts
America,
are facts.
but
But we
okay, but
uphold
what I'm
that.
saying, Ruby, listen to me. But what I'm saying, America's a Babylon the Great, and it's gonna fall because the elites
I get
they
that.
they,
That's why I am like drain the
they
swamp. That's why I'm
okay they
anti-Fed. That's why
they
I don't
planned
put
it
my full
before we
trust in
were
the government.
they planned it before we were even born. That's why the Bible can predict it. That's why the Bible predicts Babylon the Great,
And
and we
that's in a
always have
Ruby, can I say
go
okay.
something
go
on
That's why
ahead,
that point?
Jesse. Go ahead.
I
Ho-
agree with what
because it's
WDH said.
already happened.
Yes,
It's
WDH.
already
But
happened. There's nothing new under the sun. We're just
correct,
reliving it. That's
correct.
Okay.
But
it.
listen,
And the only
listen.
way to get out,
But look,
like,
I'm gonna be a little bit
okay,
mean to you, but don't take it bad. I'm not a
okay,
quitter like you. I'm more like Martin Luther King. Elvis
I'm not
Presley
a
sang a
quitter
song.
either.
You're a quitter. Listen, let me
Okay, hold
finish.
on. Let him finish his point, and then we'll move on back to you,
Yeah, yeah.
W.
Look, you're a quitter. Elvis Presley said, "While I can walk, while I can talk, while I can dream, I will dream." Martin Luther King said, when his people were suffering, he said, "All we want is you to live up to what you put in paper. We want you to put, we want you white guys to behave the way you put it in paper." I'm not ready to quit on the American dream. I'm
Okay,
not gonna
but
get my I'm not
okay,
gonna get
you
my
want to go
marijuana
deep?
joint and go into the grass and start rolling around.
Okay, you want to go deep?
We know what you're saying is true.
What
We
did
know,
Jesus
but
do when they were crucifying him? Did he fight back?
No.
I'm not Jesus. I'm Jesus.
Did he fight back?
Jesus
Did
said to turn the other cheek, but when they kick you in the ass,
exactly. But Jesus also said that the Father has nothing to do with this world. That
exactly. Then you know
okay.
what? Then go and sit in the sidelines and let the men handle this fight. If you can't
Basically.
take the heat, get the hell out of the kitchen. WDH, go smoke some
Right.
weed somewhere in the corner.
Bro, I'm standing in the kitchen. I'm in this live stream. You don't think like
I understand where
you
you're
don't think
coming from, W. I
you don't
totally
think you
understand, and
don't
I agree with you. All I'm
whatever
saying
comes to me
is that
comes
I
to me,
use my
bro.
show and I use the platform just to wake other people up about politics. and to educate ourselves, because I'm passionate about politics. But I understand where you're coming from. My cousin tells me the exact same thing. But to be honest with you, I have moved past that, is what I'm telling you. So even though I respect your opinions, even though I know that's what you believe in, I just do not agree with that. And I feel the moral duty to stand up to evil, to stand up to the degeneracy of this society, and to fight back. That's just what I'm saying. That's just my honest opinion.
There's one thing WD is forgetting. He brought up Jesus. Let's continue that story.
Okay.
What's Jesus going to do in Revelation? Is he going to politely stand around, or is he going to bring an end to it?
His terrible swift sword.
Yeah. So you see, there's a time of patience. There's a time of love. Then there comes a time. Everybody knows I try to respect everybody, but my patience has limits. Sort of like God, if we say we're creating His image, everybody knows I try to be as patient as I can with everybody. But even Jesus, you're going to throw him up there. Continue the story. How does it end in Revelation? He finally has his fill, and he's going to destroy his opposers. But so many people don't want to continue the story. They're like, "Oh, Jesus, all about mercy, love, blah blah blah." But there comes a time in our lives we have to get serious. The other night, somebody thought I was going to get serious, and I was like, there's some pain on some people's part. I like to hear all the stories. So we can either immediately start off violent, or we can let it play out. Sometimes you give somebody enough rope and they will hang themselves. It don't matter what it is. And so anyhow, let them finish their story. What is Jesus going to do at the end? He's going to clean house. That's what Jesse and Jimmy and Gigi and me, even though I'm not a Republican, I'll always be independent. I don't want to toe a party line. No, I want to judge each individual on their own merits, not because I want to pull the party line. But anyhow, I still have to say, Trump's got his advantages, he's got his disadvantages. We all do. And the one thing I wish we could have got back real quick, and before we get too far away, as I keep seeing it come up in the comments, is about that dang cat. I wish we could have just 2 minutes and let a clip play of that. I finally found it again. And I want to, because this illustrates what Jesse and Jimmy's, everybody's trying to say, what they're doing to Trump, because the mayor of Springfield made it sound like it's all false. And I bet you the original clip, there was a commercial and everybody thought, oh, it's all in. Then the very next story shows the cat. It just happened to be in Canton. And that's all I want y'all to see what's doing. They make it sound like everything Trump said was a lie. Maybe he got a couple of details wrong, but did he tell us the truth? And I wish Ruby could pull it up like on another tab real quick. I can tell her how to type it. Under search, under YouTube, type Canton woman arrested for eating cat. I know that sounds graphic, and they actually show police video cam. This is
Oh
not
yeah. I shared that on the last stream.
okay. So you are aware of it. But now
Yeah.
notice that happened in Canton. That was not in Springfield. But the Springfield mayor just made it sound like everything was false. So that shows that it did happen. There was an incident that happened. Some of the details may have been a little off, but he was not lying about what happened. So I'll leave it at that then if y'all have already discussed it.
Yeah, that's the one that Mitch was talking about earlier, that she wasn't Haitian, she was an American, and details came out later or whatever, and that's the narrative that has been being pushed. I didn't look into that. I don't know any information about that. All I know is that the video does exist, and that's what started this whole thing when Trump said it under the debate.
Right. So irregardless, there is someone eating cats, and she happened to be. That's actually not the. Is that the actual news bite there, Ruby? The one I watched, it was a 2-minute clip, and it was from. I've got it right here. I'll tell you where it was from. It's from WKYC Channel 3. Does anyone know where WKYC is? At Kentucky, maybe? It's called WKYC Channel 3, and it says Canton woman arrested after eating cat faces charges.
Can you send it to me on Discord? Or are you on a laptop or something? Because I think you could share your screen. Just click present at the bottom.
Ooh, okay. Well, I better not do that because I've got some personal business information here, and it ain't foreign, guys. I know some people like me. It's like, no, it's personal. So that's why I usually don't share my screen.
Okay, so send it to me on Discord if you can, because I'm on Discord right now.
Okay. Did you say WKRP?
No, it's WKYC Channel 3.
I'm just teasing you.
Oh yeah, WK. I know what you're referring to, WKRP in Cincinnati. But hey, that would be Ohio as well, wouldn't it? Cincinnati?
Yeah, next door.
Yeah. So even if that was the case, it would be close.
Okay, Jimmy is back.
Hey, Ruby. Yeah.
Welcome back, Jim.
I love it when you talk about Jesus, and one thing that really helps me, you know, about being Gigi for GB, you know, Jesus said that if a lot is given to you, a lot is going to be expected of you. So, you know, going with WDH and this comment thing, this whole thing, if the United States dollar is being destroyed and then we die, Jesus is going to say, well, what did you do about it, Gilbert? If children are being raped or sex predators are being hidden in a congregation, Jesus is going to say to me, Gilbert, what did you do about it? See, so this thing about thinking that we're going to fix the problem isn't the most important thing, because when we're dead and we leave planet Earth, the problems will stay here on planet Earth. But Jesus wants to know, well, how can I trust you over here? You didn't show up to work. You know, Jesus says, hey, I gave you 2 eyes, 2 ears, a mouth, 2 hands to do something. But instead we bitch and complain about how things are not perfect. Well, guess what? When Jesus was on earth, he didn't fix things, but what he did is fix the hearts of the people, and he kept them moving. And that's the whole point. A lot of times we get depressed because we think that we're not fixing the problem, or the problem is not going to go away. That's not true. We're empowering other people, and also we're showing Jesus and God our Father that if he gives us a coin, we can make 2, 3, 4 coins in return, that we are industrious people. So I think it goes back to attitude. The attitude of our Jehovah's Witness brothers. Our Jehovah's Witness brothers have that attitude that I'm just going to sit in the sidelines because nothing can be fixed. Yeah?
Right.
Well, what makes you think that you're going to pick up a shovel on Paradise Earth? You see, they're lazy now. What makes you think they're going to be industrious in the new world that they preach? So that's the whole point I'm trying to say, is that we're Jimmy and Jesse and Juan Brown, I don't want to misgender him. We're not saying we're going to fix the problem, but we might be able to fix our neck of the woods. We might be able to help one person. And my God, you know, when I die, Jesus is going to say, what did you do, Gilbert? Well, I ran for governing body. Says, amen, brother, come on in. Yeah. You know, do something.
And you know what?
Go ahead.
And a lot of Pollyannas live in this world that didn't Jesus say, what makes you think I came to bring a sword?
Right.
You know, I beg your pardon. I didn't promise you a rose garden, as the song says. You know, everybody wants, Jesus says, I came to put a sword. He didn't come to bring about world peace. The Watchtower and the United Nations are going to do that. The rest of us, we got to fight in hell.
Good point. Welcome back, Jimmy. I saw that in the comments you said you wanted to move on. You wanted to mention P. Diddy, and I already know where you're gonna go with that. So you let me know what you want to do, because I also had the rigged debate affidavit stuff that I wanted to show.
Yeah,
so it's up to you what you
No. This is your show. Let's did you have any more questions or thought? I want to just kind of get back on topic.
Yes. Which topic? Because there was many.
the assassination attempt and everything. Did you have any more thoughts on that?
I had this clip that I think it's like an 8-minute clip. I think you've seen this. Alex Jones posted it. Have you seen this?
Yeah, I did watch that one. Yes.
No.
Okay. Do you want to watch it with us right now? Like, do you think I should play it? What's your opinion?
Yeah, I mean, folks should. It's knowledge, man.
Okay, so we're gonna watch this video and then we'll discuss.
So the new Trump assassin just dropped, and there's some spicy details already. Ryan Ralph, very strange guy who's lived a very strange life. And this time, the internet was wise and archived all of his socials as much as possible before the FBI took it all down. So here's some basics on what we know about him, and one really interesting rabbit hole about who he might be. Right off the bat, though, it's super early. This is all speculative. Take your time, pump the brakes. We're just digging through dirty laundry. We don't know what sticks yet. But this guy is a private American citizen who traveled to Ukraine on his own dime, to help recruit civilian soldiers to fight for Ukraine and Afghan special forces. He was like recruiting on his Facebook page. Here's an archive of all of his tweets that look pretty damn automated to me. They pretty much all look like this. In a past life in Hawaii, he apparently ran this company that made a single tiny home and a single Facebook page and never did anything else with it. Super weird. But I grabbed everyone that he followed on Twitter before they deleted it. He only followed 60. And right down at the bottom of that list, which I think indicates his first follow, is this girl named Sue Kim, who is ex-CIA, along with some other very interesting things. Now, again, reminder, this is just speculation, digging through Twitter dirt. Maybe this chick is just a wonderful, patriotic person that's helping America. Who knows? But her account is private, meaning why does he follow her? I've been digging around, and one of my followers said that they found her in the people that follow him back. I have not been able to confirm that for myself because they took the account down. If you've got a video of the 1.2 thousand followers that followed him, that would be great to know. He says that she was at the bottom of his followed list, meaning that she followed him right when he made the account. That would make sense, seeing as she's at the bottom of his following list of who he follows too. I mean, every asset needs a handler. And when you go through some of these other affiliations here, you get what is essentially the CIA training grounds at Johns Hopkins University. It explores the relationship between politics and the many kinds of military power, from the use of terror by small non-state groups to the threatened use of nuclear weapons. Its director is John McLaughlin, who is literally an ex-acting director of the CIA and ex-deputy director of the CIA, 3-decade career at the CIA. David is third on the list of people at the top of this institution at the university. 30-year career in Army Special Forces, various special operations, invading various countries, as well as Operation Enduring Freedom. You get the idea. Anyways, RAND Corporation, that's a military industrial complex think tank, kind of like the Atlantic Council. And LMI org, yeah, that's like a military industrial complex education and training program as well. Preliminary findings on the internet when you search our homeboy, the shooter, show his arrest record, including in 2002, possession of weapons of mass destruction, Class F felony, along with 3 other blocks of things like possession of handguns or concealed weapons and driver's license stuff. And yeah, that sounds like some operative shit to me. But again, we don't know any of this yet. We're just digging through dirty laundry on the internet. It's hard to tell what's real. But this is a photo of the weapon he used and the setup he had. People are speculating it looks an awful lot like, you know, Russian-Ukrainian class of rifle. He's doing these weird recruitment ops in Ukraine for civilians. Well, he's like posting on his Facebook all the time to like no followers about how he's recruiting hundreds of civilians to fight for Ukraine. Posting for like Afghan special forces to contact him so they can come fight in Ukraine. But he's like just a random citizen from Hawaii. And one of the 60 people he follows is this CIA gal that allegedly follows him back. That looks an awful lot like a handler or a contact. His account looks an awful lot like a bot or an MK Ultra or a Pato. Who knows what the hell this is? His criminal record looks an awful lot like what you might expect a kind of guy in this kind of line of work to leave behind. And then there's the weird video evidence getting turned up.
Officials in Kyiv simply aren't interested in recruiting them.
Ukraine is reluctant to be cooperative.
That's Ryan Ruth, a U.S. citizen who set up the International Volunteer Center in Ukraine to help connect foreigners to Ukrainian military units.
Now I'm talking to over 100 soldiers every day, and pretty much everybody, all of my contacts in Ukraine, they were adamant, pretty much yelled at me every time that I suggested that we bring in Afghans.
The Ukrainian government didn't respond to our request for comment, but a source close to the officials in Kyiv told Semaphore that their top concern is the question of loyalty in the thick fog of war.
The biggest thing is spies. They're afraid that anybody and everybody is a Russian spy.
Shout out to some bitch I know on X, who currently has one of the best archives of all of his socials and accounts. There's a lot of other people doing good work right now. And again, I just want to clarify, I'm not trying to pretend like I've solved the case or like we know what's going on. We just have learned by now that the FBI is going to just cover everything up. And so it's up to us to try to dig everything out before they do. So that's what we're doing. And yes, it's ridiculous that that is even a set of sentences we have to say in America in 2024 when someone tries to kill the former and future president of the United States of America. And I mean, I can only imagine who might be backing up these operations to try to shoot him and who might be providing the intel and the access and the cover-ups, etc. So last thing I'll say, Ryan Routh, he's currently in custody. He was driving away in an SUV. They caught him. He's alive for now. And I just want to remind us all, Ryan Routh did not kill himself. If cameras malfunction outside of his cell, if he has a weird slipping accident, whatever happens, yeah, you know the story. 50 more days, my money's on at least one more attempt before we get there. So stay frosty.
That's also my prediction, Jimmy. I've said it since day one that I don't think Trump is gonna make it, and I am praying for that man.
Yeah.
Because I think it's gonna happen again.
The deep state is not going to stop trying to silence their system of things biggest threat, because they want Trump out of the way. They can't afford him to get in office because they know once that happens, they're done with, and they are fighting. It's kind of like this. I don't know if I've ever used it. I've used this before in the big picture episodes, but it's a chess game. We're watching a chess game right now. Have you ever played chess, Ruby?
Yes, we play on Discord very frequently.
Okay, cool. I love it. Oh, okay. I love playing chess. So when you're playing chess against somebody and you're down to maybe the last 20 moves, we're all thinking 8 moves ahead, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So if you're playing somebody and you know in your head that about 8 moves from now, I got this dude in checkmate.
Mm-hmm.
What's that other person going to try to do?
Get your king?
Well, yeah, but they're also going to make other moves to try to throw you off of your plan.
Mm.
And then when they do that and it does throw you off your plan, what do you have to do? You have to refigure, you're going to have to re-strategize, different things like that. So what we're seeing right now is a chess game between Trump, the Patriots, the people, and the deep state. And this whole assassination stuff is part of that.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why I said earlier, I do believe that there is a faction of people out there, the foot soldiers, that are going to continue to fight. That person that is losing that chess game is going to keep trying to do stuff until you actually put them in checkmate.
Right. Okay. But what if something does happen and the plan does go through? What happens if Trump is assassinated? What happens?
So I'm just going to give you guys my opinion from what I've researched through. Y'all know I look at the Q boards and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I know this might not answer your question totally, but this is kind of where I see this going. There was a speech that Donald Trump gave. It was the last speech right before he left office. And on that speech, he said, I may have to disappear for a period of time, but we will be back in some form.
Mm-hmm.
Has he disappeared since 2020?
No.
No, but he said that. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one thing that I put in the back of my head. The other thing that digital soldiers, I'm giving you our perspective of it. In the Q boards, it says POTUS is 100% insulated.
Mm-hmm.
And what that means is the real Donald Trump is protected. He's not out playing golf. The real one's not out playing golf. Now I know that's good. Hold on. I know that's going to be hard, but I'm just telling you what my viewpoint of it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think whatever you see, if it were to happen, I think it's not going to be real.
Okay.
Because of Trump saying, I got to disappear. Maybe he has to get out of the optics completely for a period of time. Maybe we're going into a situation to where people need to see a necessary scare event. They need to see something like that, or they need to see World War II, or World War III. I'm sorry, or they need to see the election being stolen, because there's so many people out there that are still freaking asleep. So
Okay, so okay, wait, question. So
Okay.
let's say it is a body double and they assassinate that one, but the real Trump is okay. How
Mhm.
does he like come back and say I'm alive and I'm safe? And what does that even look like? Like what's the plan behind faking, well, I don't want to say fake his death, but like the shock value is there. Everybody thinks he's dead, and then he comes forward and he says, "Hey guys, I'm alive. Nice try." Like,
honestly,
why do that?
I don't know. I don't know how that would take place.
Can I have a crack at it?
Okay, yes, go ahead.
Not off the top of my head. Let me think about it.
Okay, I have a different take than Jimmy's. If that were to happen and the unthinkable were to happen, if the unthinkable were to happen, we already went through this when Robert Kennedy was killed. We went through this when John F. Kennedy was killed. We went through this when Abraham Lincoln. We went through this when Martin Luther King. When Rush Limbaugh died, he was the voice of 80 million Americans, and nobody was there to pick up the torch. But in this case, the torch of freedom must be passed on. That's why we started to show that we have to win dog catcher. We have to win every precinct. Every one of us has to be a Donald Trump. Now, do I think that Donald Trump is perfect and does not have diarrhea of the mouth? Come on, man. We, like, to quote the great philosopher,
He's
Joe
a New
Biden,
Yorker.
come on, man. Of course he has diarrhea of the mouth. We know that. Like that dog comment. Couldn't he just kept it to cats? You know, so in a way, what's that guy that came in, that Mitch? He was right, you know. Why did Trump have to throw in the dogs? Should have just kept it to cat. He has diarrhea of the mouth. But he's our diarrhea of the mouth. He's on our side. He's on the side of freedom. Nobody's perfect. Look at Mitch. He flipped off my little brother. He's not perfect either. We all have something. But Donald Trump, being the least moral person in the world, according to every person in the left, Donald Trump is the most feminist hater. He's a chauvinistic pig. He's the most unchristian person. But yet he, in loving America, it turns out that he's the greatest patriot we have alive today.
That's true.
I agree with that.
Isn't that the irony of the irony? So the irony of the ironies might be this: if they get him, you and I will have to be Trump. Laura Trump will have to be Trump. Donald Trump is going to have to, Junior's going to have to pick it up. Jimmy's going to have to pick it up. I'm going to have to pick it up. We all are going to have to pick it up because he's not going to be there to pull the cart no more. But until that day comes, yeah.
You know, I was just sitting here thinking, I think it has a lot to do with programming still. Because if you think about it, you know, the Watchtower programmed everybody to distrust and hate the apostates. You know, they're evil, they're this, they're that, they're going to take you away from Jehovah.
Correct.
Okay. So they started with, you know, the conspiracy theorists. The deep state started talking about the conspiracy theorists the same way the Watchtower does about apostates. Okay. So now let's take it down another step, another little level. Now you got people saying this about Donald Trump, and it's the same pattern of being called a conspiracy theorist or a apostate. It's just the people themselves are now saying, repeating, oh, he's a threat. He's this, he's that, he's that. And they don't really have any proof. And what a lot of folks need to understand too, is we are in a war where this is a game going on right now. And Trump is playing the game. He knows how to push their buttons. Just like Ron Pomo came on here. He said that he came on just to be antagonizing, right?
Right.
Trump does the same thing, but he puts it to where he's the bait. He's the bait. He wants these people to come out and say this stuff. Because once these people come out and say things like that, then the American people see it.
Right.
And
Their
they're
true
like,
colors. Yes.
holy crap. So you got to look at it that way too. That's why I don't freak out about anything.
Because he's outing them out with their own words, because they out themselves when they
Yeah.
say stuff
So,
like this.
so if he messes up, if he says something, I mean, for the love of God, he was on The Apprentice. He knows how. He's been around Hollywood people. He acted in the WWE or WWF or whatever. So he knows how to do that. And you don't think that he might use the enemy's weapon against them?
I do, but I mean, he has a lot. Well, I don't want to say a lot to lose, but I mean, like, you're putting yourself up for death threats. You're putting yourself up to be possibly assassinated. You're putting yourself, and he is like the face and the man and the name of the movement. You know what I'm saying? Like, he changed politics in terms of he's not a Republican, he's MAGA. You know what I mean? Like, MAGA is its own thing, and then it dived and it branched off to Patriot Party, to the Truth Seekers, to Go ahead.
I'm going to say this right now. If something happened to Trump tomorrow, MAGA's not dying.
Exactly. Like, he changed the course of history. He's an icon in the true sense. He's iconic. And that's the thing. He changed that for us.
If something like that did happen, that's the last thing that the deep state will afford to be able to do, because they know the people will rise up and they're going to be done with, and not in a physical violent way, but they're going.
That's what I tried to explain to you guys in the beginning. It's like, I have that fury, that anger, but it's not the violent type. It's just like, I see how they're targeting him. I see how the media is dragging him. I see people like Mitch, like my cousin, like W, like you, like everybody who I come into contact with, and I see what's happening around me, and I'm like, wow.
You know, it was kind of funny, because in 2019, when I started all this stuff and everything, and I started to learn about Trump, you may not remember, but I said one of the things that woke me up in 2020 was I wondered why the media was always hating on Donald Trump.
Right.
I didn't really pay attention between 2016 and 2020 till March of 2020. But that was the question that I had. Now, if Trump wasn't out there baiting these people to say this stuff, would I have asked myself that question? Would I have started researching why? See, that's the thing. I chose to research why they are saying these things. Other people chose to just listen to what these people were saying and go along with it.
Yeah. Hey, also,
that's the difference.
When they shot Abraham Lincoln, you know, he belonged to the ages. The eminent orator of the day spoke for hours, and Lincoln spoke for 3 minutes off a handkerchief, and his speeches was recited by kids 100 years later. He belongs to the ages. When John F. Kennedy was shot, Camelot did die. When John F. Kennedy was shot, the New Frontier did die. Now, the quest to go to the moon survived, but Camelot died. When Bobby Kennedy...
If we went to the moon...
That's another day, Jimmy. Don't even say nothing. Jesse, keep going. Shut up, Jimmy. Go, Jesse.
But what I'm saying is, look, when Rush Limbaugh died, the conservative movement kept going. But I would put Donald Trump not in the league with John F. Kennedy, but I would put him on the side of Abraham Lincoln, where it's generational, it's transformational.
It is.
If Trump is taken out of the equation, Trump will still live. He will belong to the ages. Like John F. Kennedy, Camelot died. Maybe it was a little astroturfed, where the love that people have for Donald Trump, I think it's once in a lifetime that people witness this. And I could be wrong. It's just my opinion.
I tell you, we're going to talk about a shameless plug real quick. Tomorrow night, me and John are going to be on John's channel, XJW Analyzer, and we are going to talk about voting and, you know, some stuff and everything. But we ran a poll, and this will go along with what we've been talking about here. He ran a poll on his channel, and I ran a poll on my YouTube channel over on the community tabs. And and most of our audience are XJWs. And he's got like 25,000 subscribers. I only got like a little over 3. But anyway, so we ran the poll, and it was, who do you plan to vote for in 2024? And we put Trump, Harris, not voting, or other. Before I came on the show this evening, I looked at the poll. and we're going to run it up until tomorrow. On John's page, Trump is winning 43 to 35%. On my page, he's winning 52 to 26%.
Wow, nice.
And that is from the XJW, mostly XJWs. So when I started all this, and remember, Ruby, when I reached out to you and I said there's others like us,
Yes.
that group of folks that were giving us a hard time, I thought that these polls would show a different result than what they're showing right now.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm actually excited because I think there's starting to be a shift in the XJW community for seeing what we've been talking about. And these polls, we can't manipulate these polls.
Right.
So there's a shift there. And I think we're seeing everything we're seeing for this reason, for people to wake up and start asking questions.
True. Jimmy, let me throw something at you. Me and Gilbert have a theory. Let me throw it at you. It's just a theory from what we see with our family and friends. There are a lot of pussies. The men are, how would you call it? Sissies? What's the proper term nowadays?
Demasculated.
Yeah. Okay. But we think they're going to go into the booth and they can't vote for communism. They're going to secretly vote for Trump. There's going to be a segment of the population, our Democrat brothers and sisters, at the end of the day, they know that if they vote for Kamala Harris, the next day gasoline will be at $10. They know that price controls won't work. These are not dumb people. These are people who went to college, educated, our family and friends. A lot of them are secretly, they're just not going to tell nobody, but they're going to vote for Trump.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I agree with that. I don't think it's going to happen too. But I think one thing that's wrong with America is we've become dormant. We've become soft. Everybody gets way too offensive or way too offended too quickly. And that's where you get the whole, they need safe spaces or they need a participation trophy because we care about their feelings. I remember growing up, my parents and my grandparents, especially the men in my family, you listened to what they said, or you got your ass beat. You were taught how to respect people. You were taught how to be a man.
Right.
And so what's happened now is you got somebody like Donald Trump, who is a very masculine man, coming out saying the crap that he does. It's kind of like he's the daddy that these people they've never experienced someone being like this, like we did with our parents. So when he says something, oh, he hurt my feelings, or oh my God, seriously, grow a pair.
Jay was asking for your show tomorrow. What time are you going to be going live with John?
I'm sorry, guys. It'll be on John's channel. We are planning to start at 7:00. That's going to depend on his work schedule. So just, go to his page, XJW Analyzer on YouTube, set your notifications. If you're following me on X, I'll put it out right before we go on as well. So yeah, we'll let folks know exactly, but we're trying at 7. And he may be a little late, so we'll see.
Jimmy, can you do it at 8? Because the European white man stole 7 from the Indians.
I'm sorry. It'll start when it starts.
I wanted to bring up Lucy's comment. She jumped in the chat and she said that she missed a little bit of the show because she had to attend a local a local political party, and she met a U.S. Senate candidate.
Nice. Good job.
Awesome, Lucy. And I knew she was going to that because she told me on Discord, and I'm so excited that she did that. I'm so excited that she's the one who put me on to the Freedom Fest. She's the one who put me on to third parties. And I'm so glad that Lucy was able to share her views on my show and things like that, and share things with me. And that's why I put in the title of this live stream, Appreciation for Our Political Differences. I invite everybody. I don't care what you believe in. I don't care, your background, race, age. It doesn't matter. I love to hear all perspectives. The other night, I was on Linda James Live, and there was another man there. He's also from New York, and we had a great conversation. Wild was there, and his name was Josh Rivera, aka David King. And when that came up, Linda said, "Oh, I think that would be so scary if you guys did a show together." Like she was legit fearful of a collaboration between, him and I, because he is he had like democratic views in the past and things like that, and then I gave my views. And I told her, why have that fear? You know what I'm saying? Like how much we talk about fear, how much we talk about like the fear mongering of, like, we left that a long time ago. You know what I mean? Like I'm so past that. I'm not afraid of people's ideologies, people's political leanings. I'm not afraid of those things. And I told him I would love to have you on my channel, because you are the type of person who said, "Oh, I've been there. I was protesting. I was all for the BLM. I was all for this, all for that." And then he went on to say, "Oh, how he got threatened, and that he had like a spat on the internet with the vast apostate army." And I wasn't on YouTube when they were, so I don't really know too much about them. But that's what I'm trying to get at, is that this community, in my opinion, has not done a great job in reaching to the other side of us in the political spectrum. Just like how Mitch said, "Oh, well, if I disagree with you, why do I have to follow you? Why do I have to be in the same space as you?" It's like, you don't. But if it does come up and you disagree with somebody, why not talk about it? Why is it always the first thing to just block somebody just because you disagree with them?
Or
And
attack.
yes, and you see how the first thing he said was, "Because I don't like you." That's not good enough for me, to be honest. I don't care who you like or who you don't like. That's not a good enough excuse for me. I like I told him, I respect the response that he gave after that one. I respect that one a little bit better. Oh, because you post offensive things, in my opinion. Okay, I could respect that. But I don't respect when somebody comes up to you and says, "Oh, well, I just did this because I don't like you." Like, how old are you? You know what I'm saying? Like, we're grown. Like, grow up.
Yeah, John and I are going to be discussing that tomorrow night too, and giving our example. Because when this all started and everything, me and John didn't see eye to eye on everything. Oh my God, some of the debates and discussions we had. But see, this where it goes back to that programming issue I was talking about earlier. I think that a lot of folks still have that watchtower programming, to where they have to be right and they're going to defend everything that they believe in, no matter what it takes. Just like the Jehovah's Witnesses. And when you do that, you lose how to communicate with people.
Right.
And you're not communicating in a way that is beneficial for both parties. It's all one-sided.
Hey,
Right.
Jimmy, let me throw an irony. Let me throw an irony at you of yesterday in our little town on the border. Laura Trump was here, and my sister-in-law, she's a politician here in Yuma, our state capital, and so she was invited, and she says that she's more beautiful in person, and she's in not so much in the physical sense, but the way she embraces people.
Right.
She's the daughter-in-law of the president. And she sat down here, and this is like, our town is like 75% Mexican-American. We're beaners. We ain't nobody. But maybe 20, 30, 40 years ago, we weren't allowed a seat there. I remember in our church, Jehovah's Witnesses, the Mexicans that fought in World War II, they weren't allowed in the kitchen of the railroad until after they fought in the war.
Yep.
That's the way it was. So we won a little bit. So now in the Republican Party, it's flipped. It's everyday beaners and everyday workers, everyday carpenters, everyday hardworking moms and dads that are taking over, because they have a dialogue. They have a seat now. Maybe 6 or 7 years ago, when John McCain was running the joint, you weren't going to get in. You're not a Richie. But now it's become a party of the working class. The same thing happens with us when we start talking about things. We have a voice that the Jehovah's Witnesses don't talk about. Somebody in your comment section said that the majority of the Jehovah's Witnesses are far left. They don't know it, but they are far left.
Right. The last point that I was going to make before Jesse shared that with us was, I have learned, and maybe some folks, maybe you guys can use this, but I have learned for myself how to engage with folks of different opinions and different ideologies. Before as a witness, I was on the attack. I was ready to go. But I learned how to not do that. And so there's two things I do. One, I will hear what they have to say and be like, okay, do you want to debate this? Or are you just making a statement? Because if you're just making a statement, then I'll be like, okay, I respect what you said. However, I do disagree with it. And I can leave it at that. Or if they say they want to debate it, I'm like, okay, are you up to doing this respectfully and staying on point? And then I can have great conversations. I've had so many phone conversations with folks from the other side that when we actually get on the phone and talk like two freaking human beings, we realize we have more in common than we have differences. And it's just, you got to break the ideology. You got to break the programming. And we all said we did it from Watchtower, but have you washed that programming completely away?
Exactly. I want to welcome JP, Shaq, and Gigi is with us again. But JP, you can go first since you're Gigi already came here like 5 times. Go ahead.
Oh, I just wanted to say what's up. I've been enjoying the show all night, and yeah, with the second Trump assassination, there's so many things, and Jimmy was talking about it, and you guys were covering it too, some of it, but his criminal record was just astonishing, that this guy's not even in prison right now, that he was able to travel the way he was. Supposedly he had been to Ukraine, what was some kind of a loser, businessman that had a bad construction company, but he was getting funded all kinds of money to go to Ukraine. He'd been on CNN and other news networks. It's just really bizarre. I'm not putting it past, something deeper funding him, but things aren't adding up as far as his background. So it has to show that there's something much deeper than that. And then also, I was going to say too, today there was that cyber attack in Lebanon, and it's more than likely supposedly from Israel. I've never seen anything like that in my life. I wouldn't have even thought of anything like that. I've seen dozens and dozens of videos. Supposedly there's at least 9 dead so far and 22,800 plus injured, but I've seen dozens and dozens of videos on different sites of people, not just the ones you see on the regular news of some of the devices going off, but just of ones that aren't on the main news, that you have to go to second or third party sites to see some of the explosions going off. And I mean, some of these people are getting maimed. Like, there was just one guy just walking down the street and he had it in his hand and his whole arm got blown off. And I've seen all kinds of stuff. So I've never seen anything like that. And it just makes you wonder, because they haven't exactly traced how exactly, if it happened, if they somehow overcharged their batteries, which I doubt, or there's some kind of a device that was in there. But it kind of makes you wonder too, because out here where I live, I know a lot of it's a Air Force town, and I live near Edwards Air Force Base and Lockheed Martin and other stuff. But a lot of the microchips and other stuff, technology that they use to build their bombs and technology, they are manufactured in China and stuff, because everything comes from there. So it really makes you wonder if there was some kind of something implanted in these devices to make them explode. It makes you wonder too if that's implanted on our own devices, and if it's even like on some of our military, nukes and other like jet fighters and stuff that have, they all have microchips and they're operated by computer systems and a lot of that. So it makes you wonder if we buy a lot of our our consumables and other components that we use from other foreign countries, but it makes you wonder if they're just really sabotaging just the smaller technology like microchips and other things that we're not even aware of. And my last point, I don't want to keep you guys too long, is I think probably we all think that they're going to be going after Trump again pretty soon here. It's going to get wild. And I think we need to stay calm and prepare for the unexpected, because Jimmy's been talking about this for years, and it's coming about a lot. Like things are going to get really wild. He's been talking about for years, but I think we're going to see some really crazy stuff coming down, especially the next few months. So I think really if people are trying to stay in a prepared mind, we only have really just a few weeks or a few months to really get everything in order, just in case things go really sideways. And if it doesn't, then, well, good for us. We just have a few extra things that we've taken care of in our life that we probably should have or prepared for. So I think that'll be good. But one last thing, do you think that there's some kind of a technology or something that they would use maybe to try to take out the running president, who we know is Trump, like how they did in Israel? Like I wasn't expecting that they would try to maybe use like another shooter. I thought maybe they would either like try to poison the man with some kind of anthrax or food poisoning, or possibly, I mean, there's so many weapons they have. Even that one technology that they used in Cuba not too long ago, I think there was some U.S. personnel there, and they used some kind of technology to really, it was some kind of a silent weapon or something. But I'll just leave it at that. I don't want to get too deep down too many rabbit holes.
Yeah, go ahead, Jimmy. 3 minutes, and then we'll move to Gigi. Go ahead.
Okay, so these folks, these deep state people, they are going to do anything they can to stay in power. They are going to use any type of technology that they have. They're going to try to do this stuff. However, since we have two opposing forces here, the playbook is known, countermeasures are in place. The public will see what they need to see. I do agree. We are going to see a necessary scare event. With what he just said, kind of validated what I said 2 nights ago in my live, when I said, hey guys, you're going to see some stuff you've never seen before. And we have that commented tonight. So I'm like, yay. But anyway, so they're going to do everything that they can. I wouldn't be all assets that they have are deployed. They did it with on the health side in 2020. They're stoking division. They're going to do all this stuff. It's going to play out that way. Okay. Now, as far as the guy, the Ryan Roth guy, yeah, I do believe that he was what they call confidential human source. He was, I can't prove it, but I'm just looking at a pattern here. He was probably MK Ultra'd. He was probably a type of individual that these people, like the FBI, like they hone in on. They want to, a kid with a troubled past or a guy with a troubled record. This way we can use this person. Oh, you know what? And we'll give them money to kind of do what we want them to do. And you can travel wherever you want and do it. He was being used by them. He's another a patsy, you could say.
Oh, Jimmy, did you see that DeSantis said they're going to do their own investigation? And
yeah,
it was said that he didn't even take a shot at all.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm staying up on that. But yeah, DeSantis said that the state is going to take over the investigation. But I saw something before I came on, and I got to look back into it. But apparently DeSantis tapped a Trump-hating prosecutor or something to run the investigation. I got to look into that and see what's going on there.
Okay, and look at the press conference too, because the cop that was giving the press conference, he was the one who was giving a little bit of details, and he said that guy didn't even take a shot. So I don't even know what is going on with that. That's crazy.
It's still a fluid situation. I'm gonna try to do my best to keep everybody updated on that. But I do believe that this guy was used, kind of like with oh God, what's his name? Who shot Kennedy? Supposedly
Lee Harvey Oswald.
Oh yes.
Thank you. He was used just like Lee Harvey Oswald. Okay.
Oh my God! Stop.
So
John
yeah,
Wilkes Booth.
that's how it works. That's what they do.
Okay, this is where this is going to date. This is going to date a lot of you guys. Everyone in the chat either remembers or don't that when you used to get your cell phone bill, I still have a couple of them.
Mhm.
Every month it would be like about 50 pages. Ruby, did you ever get 50 pages on a cell phone bill?
Only if like I asked for it.
No, you don't. This is what happens when cell phones were coming out, and all of us older people know,
Mhm.
they would give you, depending
Every
on
phone
how
number.
you talk, about 50 pages on your cell phone, and every single phone call that was coming in and going out, what day,
Right.
what time.
Yep, it's there.
So it costs too much money for postage and handling. They did the
Mhm.
right thing. So you mean to tell me that DeSantis, whether he's legit or not, and the CIA, the FBI, the Secret Service, you mean to tell me that they were able to catch this guy because of the smart license plates, and right away, because a cop has a camera that's on 24 hours a day,
Mhm.
and it's just scanning every car that he's driving by.
Yep.
Mhm.
So this is the point. You mean to tell me that they don't want they know every single Washington D.C. phone call that guy was talking to that
Mhm.
day?
Yep.
They don't want this in the hands of the people. You see, the people aren't stupid. We used to get these in our mail. So that guy received about 10, 20, 30 calls before the incident.
Mhm.
Where did they come from? Who are they? How many times did he talk to that number?
Yep.
This is why the people are saying no. DeSantis has to be legit and calling for the investigation. And you can't do an investigation on Donald Trump on the assassination attempt when the same department is trying to prosecute him and put him in jail.
Exactly.
That makes sense.
DeSantis
That
said.
makes sense.
Yeah. Now to go back earlier with that excellent comment that you put up about Tim knocked it out of the park. When
Mhm.
you go on YouTube, you get fed JW videos to watch. Every single JW video that they tell you to see is from people that do not love America, do not love Jesus Christ, and do not, and the list goes on. Here's the thing.
Mhm.
Barbara Anderson didn't say this, but she did indirectly. John Adams, I forget his Adams was the president of the Watchtower after Henschel. He was in a meeting and Barbara Anderson says, "Okay, I'll leave." He goes, "No, stay right here. I want you to meet somebody." This person worked at the State Department. A Jehovah's Witness worked at the State Department, and he was giving the president of the Watchtower Bible Tracking Society information on stuff that was affecting Jehovah's Witnesses worldwide that could potentially cause problems. So that way, the Jehovah's Witness governing body could get the elders to fix the legal problems, before it became an issue. And he called her an asset. So why did this Jehovah's Witness person working at the State Department show loyalty to the Watchtower and not to the United States? Well, we know the story. So this is the point I'm trying to make. And I've said this to you before, and you're going to see it more and more. Ruby, you're never going to get anything from Watchtower, a Watchtower insider. A Watchtower whistleblower is never going to give you anything. You know why, Ruby? Because you love America, you love Jesus Christ. And the last thing Watchtower wants is for you to be talking to ex-Jehovah's Witnesses. But who gets all of the leaks, the alleged leaks that lead to no arrest, the alleged leaks that lead to no prosecution? Everybody that hates Jesus, that calls Jesus a misogynist, they hate America, they hate the nation state. It's not a coincidence. So all you have to do is delete all of your information on your computer, your phone, delete everything, type in Jehovah's Witness, and guess what? Every damn atheist, homosexual, nothing wrong with homosexual, but everyone who's preaching the LGBTQ agenda, they're going to be on the front line. Why? Because Jehovah's Witnesses work in Google. They work in YouTube. And they're going to be loyal to Watchtower. They're stupid. They think that they're doing a service to Watchtower by blacklisting you. And this is what you learn from the old movies like Casablanca. when Rick says, you have a dossier on me? Yeah. There's a dossier on you. Watchtower knows. Ruby Quinn, Republican, loves Jesus, loves America. Check, 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 check. So they'll give it. So when they have their parties, they'll say, "Hey, Joey, make sure Ruby is shadow banned."
Yep.
See, that's how it works, and it's all done in their secret societies, in their back rooms, in their parties.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why a lot of our ex-Jehovah's Witness brothers and sisters are leftists, because they get the proper food from their feed. They don't go out and research it. They say, I'm researching. No, you're being fed it through the YouTube feed. To actually research is to actually go outside of the normal, right? So that's why a lot of our Jehovah's Witness brothers and sisters are also lefties.
Gilbert, Mitch is going to double flip you off now.
Yeah, and notice the difference. And I'll end it with this, Ruby. So Mitch flips me off. Sticks and stones may break my bones. Names will never hurt me. I turned it into a positive, and I said, "Hey, at my age, I'll welcome anybody flipping me off. I like it. You know, I'm very desperate." So sticks and stones. That's the difference between them and us. You see, they take everything personally, and they cry like little girls in sophomore, freshman year. They have, you know, whereas real men and women,
toxic men.
Yeah, real toxic men like myself. Sticks
and me, and you forgot me, Gilbert.
Yeah, and Juan. But that's it, Ruby. And so that's what's happening. The government is hiding the cell phone information. We're not stupid. We know he had phone calls. We should demand that list of all of the phone calls. If 10 years ago you were able to mail it to me, God damn it, you should be able to print it.
Yeah, definitely. Good point, Gigi. I agree. But I think I do trust that DeSantis is gonna do the right thing. I think that I have trust. I'll say that. I have trust in DeSantis more than the FBI. Okay, guys. So it's midnight my time, and I am going to start wrapping it up. I'm going to give everybody 3 minutes, and we'll give our final thoughts. Jesse, you're up first. Go ahead.
Juan Brown, man, the assassination attempt on President Trump was very sad. Very sad. First of all, keep him in our prayers, prayer and fasting, because it is a spiritual struggle. But more than anything, I was thinking of the grandchildren. I heard Donald Trump Jr. talking to his kids. I was thinking about that beautiful girl that gave a speech, his granddaughter. I think of his daughters and daughter-in-law, all of them, the beautiful family. Even the liberals respect his sons and daughters. So that's a good thing. And I think Donald Trump is doing the job of maybe 100 million Americans. And we all have to put our weight into it. So I'll keep it real short. We all have to be like Donald Trump. And I'm not saying a diarrhea of the mouth. That's not what I'm saying. But be as hardworking in patriotism and nationality. I'm throwing these pearls for WDH. Love our country like Donald Trump does, because that's what the world needs now. And I'll leave it with that.
Wow. Thank you, Jesse. I'm going to take you off the stage, and we're going to move to Wild. You got 3 minutes. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'd like to just piggyback on a little bit of what Gigi said about them blacklisting or shadow listing people like your site and stuff. I do believe that. And this is why it's so important. It don't cost us no money just to click like on a lot of these videos. It don't have to just be Ruby's. I highly encourage that. But any XJW place we go to, because all these algorithms running in the background on YouTube as well as various platforms. Let's help all this word get out to various peoples. Don't just let it be a leftist thing to where all their message gets out. So anytime you see a video you like, I'm not trying to tell you to like something you don't, but if you do, hit like, leave a comment, anything that will fire up them algorithms to get the word out there. And same way with Jimmy coming up, him and John. If you go watch that, if you like it, hit like, because that does nothing but help other people to get the message out there and to be willing to step up to the plate and take their turn, their swing at bat. And one more real quick thing. Remember, this is not just a national thing we're fighting; it's a globalist. If you noticed on the news just today, look what happened down there in Sao Paulo, Brazil. That guy got hit with a chair. It's making news right now. My son just showed it to me. This is violence to an utmost degree, just over mayor of one of the largest cities down there in Brazil. The ones that are in power want to keep it. It don't matter where we're at. But this is a globalist organization. We're fighting the elites. George Carlin warned us about this so many decades ago. They're a small club. You and I ain't in it. They're wanting to hold on to power. That's in discussion right there. We've got to do whatever we can. It can be a spiritual war. It can be a cyber war. Let's just hope it never gets again to a physical warfare. But if it does ever get to that, remember this saying: it's better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war. You never want to be a gardener in a war. It's much better to be a warrior standing in the middle of a garden, because when it comes time to fight, you better be ready. And I'll leave it at that.
Wow. Thank you, Wild. I love your participation on the show. Thank you for joining. I'm going to move on to WDH. I'll give you 3 minutes. If you have any last thoughts, you can unmute yourself now and go ahead.
I don't even know what to say. I don't know what to say because I don't feel like it's because like, damn, I'm so hesitant to say what I want to say, but I know my 3 minutes hasn't passed. But it's just, I don't know what I should say, but it's like, okay, like I just feel the world is gonna come to an end. I hope it does. Like God forbid, I hope we still go into the future because I don't want the world to come to an end. But it's just like I see all the signs and like like I learned and I heard that we live in a time loop and like the earth is a time machine. It's just like if you look really deep into it, the elites know what they're doing. So it's like they want us to fight against each other. So it's like I just believe like the game is rigged and there's nothing that we can do. It's just we have to like let go. You just have to let go. Like like that's like tough to say because we want to fight for our families. We have lives. I just feel like this world is just like the survival. It's like we're not even living. We're just trying to survive.
Mhm.
It's just we're just surviving. That's what you do to keep the body alive. That's what you do to. But I just believe in a higher power, and it's just like I believe it's a never-ending story as long as we keep on coming back to this. Like I'm not saying that I'm gonna make it out because like I'm not saying that I'm gonna make it out of this matrix, but I feel like I'm gonna do this all over again, and I'm gonna forget it ever happened, and like I'm gonna try to figure out why it happened, and I'm gonna live this same. Like I'm not like you know what I'm saying? It's just it's beyond me. It's like
Yes, W. Thank you so much. Your 3 minutes are up. I want to thank you for joining the show and giving us your honest opinions. I truly, truly appreciate it. And you can always DM us on the Discord. I really highly suggest everybody join us on the Discord server to continue the conversation, you know? So I'm going to take you off the stage and we're going to move to Jimmy. You're next. Go ahead.
I understand that there's a lot of people that feel the same way W feels, that there's no hope. What can we do? This world's going to end. All I can say to that is the world is not getting worse. The world is everything is being unveiled. You are seeing what they've been doing to us for a very, very long time. And if you understand the way these people work, you can fight against it. We're doing that with shows like this. I have told people over and over again, we are in an information war. Those who have information can control the masses. Have they not been controlling us through their mainstream media, through their propaganda, through their movies, through their music, have they not been secretively programming us? and brainwashing us to accept everything that they say? Yeah, they have. We know that now. So we come out and we speak out in this information war, and they can't win it. That's why they censor people. That's why they blacklist people from Hollywood and from the music industry, because they have to shut these people up. And that right there is how we know, as digital soldiers, we're winning this war. Because every lie that they've come out with, we can debunk it like that. In the beginning, it would take about, a year before truth came out. Then it got to 6 months. Then it got to 3 months. Now we can do it in a day. We can debunk a story. That's powerful. That's how we fight. And then that's going to motivate the ones like myself, like Ruby, like Gigi, like who was it who went to the meeting tonight?
Jesse.
The meeting. Somebody went to a city meeting or something. But it's Lucy. It's going to motivate those who have that desire in them to fight for this country. It's going to have those to go out and do the work.
Mm-hmm.
You can sit aside. You can sit out this one. That's fine. We will fight for your freedom even if you're still asleep.
Wow.
And all I can say is buckle up, folks, because it's going to get crazy. It's going to be shocking. And all I'll say is don't live in fear, because why? The Patriots are in control.
Wow, thank you, Jimmy. I can't wait to watch your show tomorrow with John. I'm gonna be there. So you said tomorrow at around, you said 7 or 8?
So for those who may not know, it's going to be tomorrow night, or it's going to be right around 7 o'clock. I'll put out some information on my X feed when we're going to do it, like 10 minutes before we go live or whatever. So XJW Analyzer. About 7 o'clock, we're going to talk about our polls that we did. We're going to talk about getting along with others that have different viewpoints. We're going to talk about is voting necessary? Is there going to be cheating? We got a whole slew of things we're going to talk about. But
awesome.
So we'll do a live chat, and we'll just have me and him on the camera. And we look forward to it. We haven't done a video since we did the memorial crash together.
Yep. Wow, exciting. I love you guys together. I love when you guys do videos. It's a true friendship that we get to witness.
Ruby, I tell you what, I mean, John is he is my best friend. And we get along so well, even though we have so many different viewpoints on things. But we've learned how to respect each other and build a friendship even with differences.
Mm-hmm.
And I've learned things from him. He learned things from me. And I'm going to go ahead and tell y'all don't know it, and he won't make it public, but I'm just going to do a spoiler alert on John. Let's just say he's going down some of the rabbit holes I've been talking about.
Nice.
Let's just say that. And
that's a good thing.
That's huge. That's a huge thing. Mm-hmm. And I admire him for that. So I won't spill any more beans on what we're looking at, but
nice. Well, thank you, Jimmy, for joining my show. Always coming on and giving your perspective. Like I don't even ask you to come on. You just do it. You know what I mean? And I appreciate that. I love that. For making yourself available for me.
I want to be here to support you and what you're doing. And I also, want folks to hear what is going on. I want to share. I want to be there to help.
Yeah.
And so that's when I took the oath to do what I do, I took it seriously. And so I'm in it until we win this thing.
Awesome, Jimmy. Thank you so much. Okay,
Thanks for having
JP.
me.
I'm so sorry we went over 3 minutes. So I will give you as much time as you want, JP. Go ahead.
No, I will be pretty quick. No, I just want to say thanks for having the show and all that. It was a pretty crazy show. It kind of went all over the place. I wasn't expecting Mr. Mitch to come in here and speak to you personally, but it showed a lot, and I'm glad he came in, and I think it ended pretty well, and I'm glad about that. I think he had to learn some stuff because I didn't like how he says, "Oh, I blocked you because I don't like you,"
Mm-hmm.
and it's okay, you know, to not agree with somebody, but to block somebody and say, "Oh, because I don't like you" and stuff. I think, you know, we need to grow a little bit of thicker skin. We grew our skin thicker when we left Watchtower, but I think as XJWs, we always have a lot to go, and we got a lot to learn, you know, from each other and all that. So at the same time, I'm glad he came on. And the other fella, you know, I know Gigi and Jimmy and Jesse, they were talking to him. I feel kind of bad. I think he has kind of like a defeatist or kind of is thrown in the towel, but I think, you know, instead of trying to dwell on if you're living like in an alternative universe or alternative life, like try to live like in the present now and be a little more optimistic. And, you know, we only live this life one time. So, I mean, he's got a lot, you know, to think about and a lot to say. So it's like, you know, do, even if it's the smallest thing, you know, that you can do instead of dwelling so much on things that we don't know or the mysteries of life, like dwell on the now and what makes you happy and how you can help other people and stuff, I think, with that. And other than that, just, you know, with what's going on, you know, in this scene in this country, especially not only the world, but especially in this country, because this is where we're located. I would say, you know, like Jimmy, we got to be on high alert, keep on our toes, because there are things are gonna happen. It's not a question of if, but it is when and how much and how often and how crazy it'll get. But I think if you look at not only human history, but just the history of this country, there's times when we have ups and downs, and we're going through this cycle right now where we're going to go into some time of turmoil, but things will get better. It may take several years, but, you know, we're going to be okay as long as we prepare and we know what's going on, because there's a lot of people that don't, and those are the people that you have to look out for. And they're either going to need help or they're going to be the people that you're going to have to look out for. So that's something that we're all going to have to discern in our own time as things happen. But yeah, I think they are going to try to go after Trump again. And I hope he makes it. But at the same time, you know, he still does have, you know, a whole term to serve. And we have, you know, to go on after that as a country. So I think there's a lot of work that we can all do in our own communities. And we can't rely too much on, we can't really rely at all on this government at all. And I think it's going to come to a point where we will see our local neighbors and our communities pull together to make a change on a grander scale. But it's going to be a huge struggle. And none of us know what's going to happen. But I think it comes with one, preparing yourself individually, you know, mentally, emotionally, physically, preparing your household, spiritually, getting close with God. And then you have to get close with your neighbors. It just starts with that, getting things in order in your household, getting in order with your neighbors, your neighborhood, your community. And then if we can all do that, I think, you know, we can probably do this. But I just want to try to leave on a positive note. But thanks again for your show tonight, Ruby.
Wow, thank you, Shaq, and thank you to everybody who has joined us. My final thoughts are, I'm actually proud of myself. When that confrontation presented itself, it's something that I wasn't expecting, but I'm ready for it. I'm always ready for it. I will never throw hands, you know, like I will never fight somebody, but if you come over here and you show your face and you do, you know, come up to the plate with what I said, because I did call out somebody's name, I respect that more than just blocking somebody and not giving a reason, or just saying because I don't like you. That's not good enough for me. I'm not in kindergarten anymore. So I'm proud of myself that I handled that in the best way that I could have, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think I was disrespectful. I have never degraded anybody. I have never projected any negativity. I hope I haven't. If you have perceived that from me, that was not an intention, but I don't think that has ever happened. I started this with the best intentions of starting uncomfortable conversations. So I understand it. But I will never back down from a fight. I will never back down when somebody doesn't come out the right way, or hides behind a block, or hides behind a keyboard, or hides behind a computer. I will never back down. I will always confront that. I am not the Jehovah's Witness female who will just stay quiet and sweep things under the rug, especially as a woman. And so if the left is so much into feminism, I think that they'll be happy that I stood up to a man. Okay? Like, I'm not even about that, but like I did what they preach, right? To stand up to the white masculine male and the toxic masculinity, all that BS that they talk about. So I just showed you what it looks like. And it doesn't matter who it is, what color they are, what background, what age. I don't care who it is. But you need to stand up for what you believe in. If you're a man, if you're a woman, if you're young or you're old, it doesn't matter. You need to stand up for what you believe in. And I'm happy that I have demonstrated the things that I preach on my own channel in real time. You have seen me do what I say. I'm not afraid of anybody, and I am not afraid to talk about my political beliefs or any type of belief, any kind of debate, no matter what it is. I'm not afraid of it. So you can come to my chat, you can block me on social media. I don't care. Just don't show your face in my chats and not talk to my face. So I'm glad that Mitch came. I'm glad that he answered the call that I was giving to him, because he was a coward until he showed his face and spoke to me. I respect that more, especially from a grown-ass man. So please, I hope that you guys see this. I hope that you appreciate this in our community, because we need to stand up more. We need to speak up more. We cannot let people project their things, gaslight you into something, like whatever the hell Mitch said. Like, what? I'm gonna have to rewatch that to see what the hell he said, because it was all false. He didn't give me a real reason. He didn't tell me anything of substance. Oh, because I don't like you? I don't give a crap of who you like or who you don't like. I'm gonna be me, and I'm not afraid to be me. So I hope that you guys appreciate that. And thank you for spending time with me. Thank you for watching, and I will catch you next Tuesday.
Good night, everyone.
Bye, guys.